the Mavic 3 coming and the Evo 3 leak that came out that's coming as well. So all interesting conversations. So no, everybody else was busy tonight. We're just not on yet.
It says we're live.
There we go. Well, yeah.
Okay.
It jumped straight to an advertisement on my screen.
So, yeah, me too. We got Blind Neil. We got Drone Life RC. We got the Fluoride Canine. Why isn't he blue? Let me correct that problem right there. There you go. And Brent Nunley. Hey, Brent. What do we got here? We got Carlos.
Hey, Carlos.
Thanks for joining us, guys. I appreciate it. Rod and I were just talking, and we just ran through a multitude of crap. And I said, wait a minute, we better wait.
Yeah. I'm always in sort of being the hardware. Actually, we lost your audio, Jim. Me being in the business that I do, I'm kind of computer tech hardware kind of guy, and you know, things show up on my tech websites. So,
do you still have my audio or no?
I do now. Yeah.
Okay. This is the Hero 10 just came out, and what I noticed about it was
only $400.
It had a no, it's only $399, but I paid $350 for the Hero 8.
It's basically, I think, the same price as the subscription the last time, I think, or is it $50 more? I forget.
The subscription is $50, but
right. But I mean the price compared to the 9, because they did the same deal with the 9, because that's how I ended up buying it, and I don't remember whether it was $349 with that deal or $399.
I got it at a Best Buy as a bundle for $349.
Okay, so it is up $50 from last year, from the 9.
Yeah, Charlie just picked up the 8. Supposedly the 7 didn't get that great of a review. I don't know, according to Charlie.
So
there were a lot of guys hanging on to their 5s and putting them on their drones.
The Session. That's what I drowned in Florida. It was
why would they not continue going with that Session? Even I would have bought it.
They sell the Run Cam. What do they call that? A Run Cam yellow, orange, whatever they call it.
I saw the orange.
$99, 4K supposedly, but it's all right.
But the stats on this thing are nice. Let's go
Charlie
down.
likes it. The 8, right, or the 9, or is this the 10 now?
This is the 10.
Oh, the 10 even.
Now that $399 price, unlimited vertical, that includes you have to get that. Oh, what do they call it? Well, it costs us $50. The subscription.
What is the subscription?
Yeah. With the subscription, it's $150 off with the subscription.
What does subscription mean, and what does that give you? What are you subscribing to?
So it gives you it gives you unlimited storage space in their cloud.
That's it.
So you can literally upload all of their stuff. It also gives you 2 free repairs.
That's nice.
And can you do live streams from it too?
Yes, you could do webcams with it.
So.
Wow.
So
and the subscription costs money?
If you buy the subscription, then you get essentially the bundle for $150 off. So the subscription winds up being free with all the extra stuff.
Is it a monthly thing or is it a one-shot deal?
Yeah,
a year.
Yeah, it's a 12-month.
But the specs are what they should have been, not so far as the 4K 120, but the 5K 60, that should have been back on the Hero 8. You know, they say a new GP2 processor. Do you know anything about that, Rod?
Other than it's a new processor, no. Obviously, based on the reviews of folks using it's working really well, because you can kind of tell just in the interface, in the touchscreen, that the thing has enough that the screen actually sort of acts more like a cell phone, and that front screen is now higher resolution, so it has enough oomph to drive that front screen at a normal refresh rate. So it's obviously got an increase.
Unlimited Vertical says the processor is twice as fast.
Yeah. So that's why all the frame rates are doubled.
Twice
Is
the
because of
performance.
the,
You just read it. Yeah.
yeah. So that's why the frame rates are doubled, is because of that new chip.
Charlie
I
says
wondered-
the 8 is oversaturated with the color. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
Highlight
yeah.
that.
So that was the other thing that they did with the 10, is they added a new color profile that is sort of midway between the Hero oversaturated and the flat. So they have one they call natural now that is a little toned down.
That Hero 8, I have it. It is definitely oversaturated. And you could, even when you put it on like DaVinci Resolve or whatever editor you use, you could see it blown out.
I use Crayola. Oh, Steve, what's up?
What's going on, Carlos?
Stevie, you read my mind. Because I have your channel up. I was definitely playing some of your videos tonight
Oh,
because
cool.
I've been remiss.
I hear you, bro. I appreciate it. You know, just to add on to that Hero 8, I believe that's one of the models that, it is one of the models that you couldn't remove the lens.
Yeah. No,
you couldn't
can't.
you couldn't interchange the lens. So a lot of the FPV guys didn't like that, the Hero 8, because if you crashed it and the lens cracked, you couldn't just switch it out.
No.
You know?
In fact, when it fell on its face, flat on its face, man. What a pain in the ass.
I have the 7. I didn't move on to the 8 because I started, I waited a little while, started looking at the reviews, and I noticed that you couldn't take off the lens. So I didn't even bother buying it, because I'm usually using the ND filters anyway to get, better depth and stuff.
Justin, something going on with your mic.
So actually, the one thing that's on the 10 that, I don't know how often you fly your FPV anywhere in a light rain, but the fact that it's got that new lens coating, water won't stick to the lens. So if you were sort of flying around in a light rain, you could actually still get video, or at least still kind of see what the hell you were looking at, kind of thing.
A lot of the guys are avoiding the 9 and the 10 because of the weight. It's a couple of more grams than the 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Oh,
it's a little bit bigger of a body. It's a slightly bigger body style, and a lot of people, you cannot really tell if you look at the image. The pictures of the cameras together, lined up. But if you look at some of the reviews, you can actually see the size difference. I mean, I've seen it in person, but there's a little bit of a size difference, and there definitely is a weight difference. And every ounce counts when you flying these FPV drones, especially when you're getting 3 to 5 minutes of flight time. Then you add another device that adds weight to that when you actually trying to cut down on weight. So, that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're into FPV and you're looking at the 9 or the 10, there is extra weight involved.
Well, Brian is saying that the 9, the 10 is lighter than the 9. I don't know. I don't have it.
It's a few grams lighter.
But I could bet you that the 10 is still heavier than the 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Sure. This is what I was talking about. That max lens mod.
Yeah, that max mod still, the one from the 9 fits the 10.
Is that the one that you're waiting for an update? The 10 doesn't actually work yet?
Correct.
They mentioned that, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't?
That'll be soon. Yeah, it doesn't work yet. It doesn't work yet. It works only with the 9. Yeah.
One thing you run into with the ND filters is they don't always, the GoPro case doesn't allow for it. So you have to maybe print another one or get something else, because Charlie says if he puts an ND filter on it, it's not going to allow.
You're talking about the
GoPro,
those 3D printed cases that hold it to the FPV drone itself.
Correct.
Right. They have to get a custom one. They have to mention that to the person they're buying it from, that I have an ND filter, and they have to use a different file to make it. and then you might have a little space when you use the regular lens, but still you want to have the option to have the ND filter because you know, sometimes you just get more out of the picture, you know, especially if you don't want to, a lot of people don't want to do any of that color grading and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so you might get better color. I think I get better color with ND filters.
I've
See,
never even
unfortunately,
tried them on there because my 8 doesn't have any magnetic filters to go on it or any magnetic lenses. I don't even think the damn thing is magnetic.
No,
I knew the 9
Clips on,
right.
doesn't it? Press on.
Yeah,
Not on the
filter?
8. Not on the 8.
No?
The 8, you might have to get something modified or something. Maybe something that wraps around it. You know that.
Oh, you're talking about for the mount.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think you would have to probably get something like the casing, like the water casing that they sell, so you could go more deeper in the water.
Right.
Something like that has a special mount. I'm sure somebody has it, but the 8 was a fail as far as I'm concerned because of the fact you couldn't change out the lens. That's big. You know, if you're flying it around, even if you're just running around with your family, there's a chance you're going to drop it. You know,
it's so exposed, man. That's what I'm saying.
You got to send the whole camera back. That's like a setback, you know, opposed to.
I got the glass pieces. It was an accessory. Okay, so you stick this glass on over the lens and the glass on in the back. But still, when it falls flat on its face, it's falling on the lens.
Exactly.
No protection for the 8.
Do they still have these $50 warranty things or something like that? You bring it back?
Well, you're paying the $50 a year for the subscription, which handles that.
Oh, okay. So it handles the crashes regardless, or
yeah, it gives you 2 replacements.
All right, Dre, because I want to talk to you about something. Dre
not
says he's going to come on after he eats.
And what is that for $50 or the?
So GoPro, from a business perspective, has probably got, you know, between the 8. Yeah, let's face it, how much more can they cram in one of these cameras and what it's doing to sort of distinguish it from, in order to get people to upgrade? I think there's probably a couple of new things that they could do. One is probably for the FPV guys, which would be to sort of do a mini. You know, like we have in the drones, right? We got the drone, and then we got the mini.
5.
They could, you could do a mini GoPro, and you know, think of all the places that you would stick a miniature version besides just the FPV, right? You know,
right. 100%.
Skiers, bikers on their helmets.
That's what Insta did, right? They made a lower quality footage, but they made like a small camera that like you could stick with a magnet to your shirt. It was really tiny. So GoPro, if they could backtrack a little bit, and they don't need 4K 120 frames per second, they could do 4K 60 frames per second, make a small camera like the Session.
Yeah.
And that thing will fly. I think that will sell more than probably the 10.
Yeah, well, think about this. So let's say the 10 is 400, right? So let's say they sold a mini, and let's say they sold the mini for 200. I bet you everybody that bought one would buy 2 because they put one on their left shoulder and one on their right shoulder, kind of thing, to get multiple angles. So they did probably actually sell more product by going down that mini route.
No, I agree. And like you said, it won't only be for FPV, but everybody, you know, smaller is better. You could bring it everywhere. And you could just put it anywhere. You could put it on your dash and switch it up and put it here, put it there.
I mean, let's face it. What's the camera in the Ring doorbell? It's not like it's a 5K camera sitting in that thing.
Right.
Like I said, they don't have to put 4K 120 frames. They could back it up.
1080.
Yeah, we got 60 frames in our phones, and look how narrow the phone is. You know, they can make a tiny camera, and forget it'll fly.
I mean, you could probably do 2.7K reasonably well.
Right. I mean, with my Hero 7, I use the 2.7K because at 60 frames, it'll give me the stabilization. A lot of people don't understand with the Hero 7, you put the 4K 60, you're not getting the stabilization.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
See, they don't. You know, they're not going to emphasize this when they're selling these products because they're trying to sell them. And they just talk about this great stabilization. They show you these great shots, but they don't show you the limitations it has as you go up the frame rates and the quality of the footage. So the 4K, I mostly use the 2.7 at 60 frames because I always film at 60 frames, so I have the option to slow it down if I want to. I don't always do that, but I have the option when I'm doing the post work.
And you're not going to get judder in it.
Look,
Exactly.
They put 1080, 60 in something this small.
Can you hear me okay, Jim?
Yes.
So,
Now you
Yeah,
impossible.
exactly, Carlos. And now we're talking about GoPro. These guys
That's what
got
I mean.
engineers and all this stuff. I mean, whoever made that, forget it. It could have been like 8 guys in a factory.
Right.
Like GoPro is like a massive company now, so they could figure it out. Like Carlos said, if they could do that little thing, GoPro could figure it out and make it half the size of this.
Yeah,
Is there
the
a
other
market
thing
for that? I don't know. I guess for small, right? Small.
Yeah, I think.
I think it would
Insta,
go crazy.
Yeah, the Insta company proved it when they made that little device. I see
Yeah.
people walking around in the city just with the
really?
magnetic thing to their shirt. Yeah, because it's tiny. It's not as intrusive as you wearing a GoPro on the back of your hat or something.
Camera.
Yeah, it's very small. It's like,
And you can have
like that
multiples,
big.
which gives you multiple angles.
It's like
Yeah.
the Session, isn't it? Because it's
No,
fits two of them
smaller.
on the battery.
it
Yeah.
just
Smaller?
doesn't have good
It almost looks
quality
something like
footage.
this. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a little strip.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was walking in the city. I saw a guy with it on his shirt, and like it's not like a big GoPro that you'd be like, "What the hell are they doing?" Like if you're not looking for it, you won't even see it. And the guy's just walking down the block filming everything he's doing.
But like Stevie says, now I can only speak about the 8. When you're in some of these modes, okay, all of a sudden you can't zoom or you can't go into not hyperlapse, the hyper smooth or whatever. If you're using that 4K cinematic 60,
Yeah,
which is really only a 12 megapixel resolution camera, we've been stuck on that for so long. I'm glad to see a new processor.
right.
I mean, the 12 megapixels. I mean, that went all the way up to the Skydio, for God's sakes, from 2015 all the way to 2020.
I'm wondering what's the limitations on the stabilization on the 10. Like, at what point do you have to not have it on? Because they have what is it, 5.3 at 60 frames per second. But is that with stabilization?
Yeah, all modes on the 10 have the stabilization because of the new processor.
Oh, see.
Look at
all
that
modes.
burst. 45 frames in a second and a half.
So the stabilization actually sort of comes to a point that I raised last night of a device that GoPro should probably create. Obviously, they have all the selfie sticks, but I think they need to do something similar to like the OM5, where you have all the buttons right on the handheld to control the camera. And because I don't care what they do to voice recognition to go, okay, start video, stop video, outdoors in the wind, voice recognition is just horrid.
Oh, I got these from Sean Oz. After that meetup we had, this is just a piece of foam. That's literally all it is.
Oh yeah, I got that as well.
I mean, I had to go through each clip and lower the volume and to cut the wind out. It was such a drag because the wind changed. You know how it was.
So that's why GoPro should probably create a gimbal like the OM5, so that you have the controls on essentially in your hand for the camera and zoom in and out and all that kind of stuff. It just, you see all these people walking around with selfie sticks. So why not have one that has all the controls in the hand?
And they had it when they made the Karma. They had a gimbal, a handheld gimbal setup.
So and the reason they need to do it is you get things like the OM5 for phones, right? So if you don't want phones replacing the Hero, you should probably copy that a little bit so that you can compete in that same space.
Right.
Jay says I'll never understand why y'all let Lockwood into these shows.
And eating on
Why?
top of it.
Because we need to talk about hunting.
He
right?
just got here. You already picking on him.
Hey, I gotta say something because Ron just moved to Wyoming, and they found the body of Gabrielle Petito. Man, that was. Did you guys hear
Only
about
about
Or at
that,
least parts of it.
I got dibs and dabs of the story, but I don't have the whole story.
dude?
You know,
From a police encounter to him driving home to Florida in her car in that little transit van without her. What
Yeah, that was pretty stupid.
fuck? Excuse me. But what did he? What's? And now he's hiding out somewhere in Northport, Florida, in a reserve area. So they're
They'll find
listen.
it.
Yeah.
They're using drones. I saw
know,
Ray posted
Is that
something.
your yard?
Yeah.
Nice
Neighborhood
place to
deer
fly
come-
drones. I'm not crazy about deer in my property because I always think of deer ticks. I don't know why, but
and actually, Jim, you have to let Ron in because Ron brings the biggest gun to the table.
You think?
I'm not
What is
gonna.
You know, he goes buffalo hunting. He's got
yeah.
Buffalo.
Buffalo hunting. Yeah, it's hard to
and,
beat that.
and the elk and I spent 10 years in Fargo, North Dakota, and one of the guys in our office up there, he was going to go elk hunting in Wyoming, and he was looking at 50 cal rifles to go elk hunting with
Jesus.
What?
Damn.
for the range.
That's crazy.
That's
Yeah.
not range. That's a heavier bullet. It would drop faster than a normal bullet.
Yeah, but you have more powder, so they go farther. And you look at what all the sniper rifles are.
Yeah,
all
who
the
needs
sniper rifles are
Who
all
needs
50
their
cal.
shoulder when you're hunting?
Yeah, right.
A 50 cal to hunt elk.
That's ridiculous.
Look at talk to
You
him.
could hit it
Talk to
from
him, Ron.
how far away? A mile and a half.
223. That's it. You good?
I've shot over a mile with a gun half that power.
Yeah.
With a wine in the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
With a glass of wine in the other hand.
And a salad in the other.
And
See, that's the secret sauce as to why Ron is here, because he brings the wine. He brings the alcohol to the party.
Always remember the 223 goes 1,000 yards. We'll take
223.
Yeah.
Hey,
When all else fails, it's a 223. Take them down.
I like hunting at Key Food, BJ's, Costco, stuff like that. That works for me.
You don't like them. You don't like them running.
Hey, Jim, guess what I
Or
did
the ones
today?
I got to cut up and take their guts out. Yeah.
What?
I mean, I think it's a good skill to learn, but nah. Oh
What
my
happened,
God,
Justin?
is that Paul
I
flying?
crashed my Mini 2 into a stadium light.
Oh, really?
Uh-oh.
Completely
That's
fucked
never
it up,
good.
yeah.
Drone down. Did you mail it already, or you got it there?
No, I don't have the DJI Care refresh.
Oh, so you have it.
Yeah, it's here, but it's all jacked up now.
Do you
Like,
got
it
a?
was-
Do you have an old Nike box or something so you can bury it and put it like a little tombstone? Like
So
a family
now
pet.
that you destroyed that one, you can wait and you can buy yourself an Autel Nano and go with an Autel in that size.
I
Did
don't
it
think geofencing was a problem when he hit the light.
No.
That's what happened to Max
lack
Air
of
with
sensors.
the plane. You don't the depth perception.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Ron?
Is that the boyfriend from of that girl down you guys' way?
Brian Launderine. Yeah, he's on the west coast of Florida.
He's
Town
about
called
70
Northport.
miles from me. I think around 70 miles from where I'm at.
You know, maybe we should just go have a drone meetup and like have 20, 30 guys with drones flying around. I bet we could find it pretty goddamn quick.
They've got them
It's
there.
surprising that they found her
Well,
in that park. They put
Yeah.
a temporary flight restriction up.
Yes, there's a TFR.
That means they're flying theirs, but you know.
Yeah, they kicked all the news choppers and everything out of there.
And they had
Actually,
one
you guys
for
reminded me
Tetons,
of
too.
something. Real quick. I think it was
Real
I don't know, one stream where they were talking about flying over the thousands of people by the border. drones?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
how
yeah.
dangerous that was?
Yeah.
Really?
No, because if you have an X5S, you have interchangeable lenses. I can put a 40 millimeter or an Olympus 14 to 42
A mile away and film.
and be a mile away and film it. How do they know how close I
You
am?
could have been. You could have been there with an.
Your concern was the safety of the illegal people crossing the border. Is that what it was?
Well, the FAA
I'm
was
just curious.
what we heard, what we were told was that the TFR for Fox News was for flying over people. So what are you saying? There's people in those woods in the tree
Well, that's
areas?
what I'm saying. You could have set back 1,000 yards over that tree line with an Air 2 and zoomed in on them.
Well, like
And
Jim
got a
said,
decent
you could
shot.
focus in. I don't remember seeing the report, but I don't think I seen any. I saw a little bit of it. They were like underneath a highway, right, or bridge or something.
Yeah.
So there was no bird's eye view shots. You know, like top down shots of the people. So there's always like a thin line of proving that they were
on the
actually over people.
Were they
You know
on
what
the
I'm saying?
United States side or the?
No, they were here. They were in Texas.
You know,
so
that
you
was a
have
question
people
I was
coming
thinking,
illegally.
Carlos.
They're in a place where they weren't supposed to be, and they're illegally put there, and you're worried about their safety. That's like worrying about the safety of the guy that breaks into your house to make sure he's.
Yeah, well,
No,
if a drone
Ted-
lands on their head, I think it becomes our problem because they're here.
Ted
So-
Cruz said that Biden asked the FAA to do that.
It's kind of like saying there's a commercial vehicle on a road that doesn't that's not supposed to have commercial vehicles. You get into an accident with that guy. He wasn't supposed to be there. How much?
Now,
fault
remember,
is
the
it? You know
rule
what I mean?
is if you're a Part 107, you can transit over people. You just can't loiter.
I see
But-
you, Jay. If you come into New York, holla at me. You got me on Facebook or whatever. As one of the guys saying he's coming into town. I'll definitely take you to some spots. Got spots from Westchester County to the city. So let me
Hey,
know.
Jim, I wonder what the rules are in Mexico. Because, they could have crossed the border, just gone south of the border and taken off from there.
Well, here's if these people, what they're saying out of their mouth is that these people are from Haiti and from South Africa and all that. Well, how the hell did they get to Mexico and then all the way up to, the Texas border and just walk across the river? Because they're filming them walking across the river into the United States. So
They just don't want you to see that there's a problem. That's what the issue is, not the
Well,
safety
that's what I'm
of
saying.
these people. Give me a break.
Ted Cruz said that Biden asked for that after it went on Fox News.
that's what Drone Life RC put up.
Apparently, he
Drone
didn't
Bear-
didn't
Do
fare
what?
well at the UN meeting today. He wasn't well greeted.
Did you hear him the way he spoke? He sounded kind of like slurry, or I don't know. Odd.
I don't think he's all there, but that's me.
Well, that's kind of evident, but anyway, Jim, did you get to see any of Charlie's video or Paul's video?
I had.
Oh,
I
say no
saw
to
the-
crack.
That one too. Crack kills.
Yeah, crack kills.
Ah,
Yeah, I
Right.
heard one of you guys mention earlier. It was kind of funny that it happened to me yesterday. Yesterday was the inspection of the place that I left,
Right.
and the inspector came. They go over it with almost with a white glove. They want to check for any dust, nail holes, anything. It wasn't until about 80% of the way through the inspection, Rachel turned around. She goes, "Ron, are you filming me?" I said, "Yes, I am. I have been the whole time." "You're not pointing that thing at me, are you?" "Don't have to." It was the Insta361. And I said, "It sees everything in every direction." She got pissed
too
because
bad.
this property manager has been known to not refund your security deposit. So I caught every word, every movement. I could see her checklist. I sat there and held it.
Wow.
Sit there and look at her checklist so I can pan to that at any time.
Smart.
I love that camera.
But he turned around, he cleaned it, and then he had a professional cleaning crew come and clean it. I mean,
Yeah.
You get your money
but
back?
it's hard to get your money back from landlords like that.
Yep.
Well, the best thing to do is don't pay your last month's rent and say, call it even. See ya.
Well, see,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
my
that kind of screws your credit though.
Well, see,
Does
my
it?
mother's grandmother had an apartment, and we had the carpets professionally cleaned before she moved out. They looked brand new, but they said that they had to replace them anyway because she had a small little Chihuahua. That they were going to have to replace it anyway, and they wouldn't give her the money back for it.
Wow.
They
That's
used
a
that
rip
as an excuse to keep the deposit.
And you're not talking about a couple of $100 here either,
It's
right?
the American way.
You're talking about $400 to $500 usually, depending on what the
Usually
house
it's a
and all that.
month's rent sometimes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, these people they're ruthless, man. They screwed a lot of people that I've known. So I sat there and filmed her.
So
Now,
you think you're going to get it back?
I'm going to
Well,
let
the funny
Dre
thing
pop
is-
in and play one of Stevie's videos when you guys finish your conversation.
I had a
Go ahead,
question
buddy.
about the Insta360. Where you edit
Yeah.
the footage?
What's up, Dre?
Like I know they
How
have
we
their
doing?
own software, and a lot of people get the Insta360 over the GoPro Max, I think it's called, because
Right.
the GoPro Max is more complicated to edit, like
It
the
is.
360 footage. So they said that it's more simple on the Insta360. Now, do you take that footage and put it into another software like DaVinci or something like that, and then
Final
work
Cut.
on it? Or you
In
work?
Final
So
Cut,
you
yeah.
pull it into Final Cut. Now, do you? All right, so the Insta360 is picking up all around you, right? And now when you review it in the software from Insta360, you pick all the angles you want, right? Like you switch it up, the front of your bike, the back of your bike, the side of your bike, and then you put it into Final Cut, or you put it in Final Cut and pick the frames you want, like the angles you want.
In Final Cut, there actually is a plugin for 360 video. You can actually manipulate it in Final Cut.
Oh, so you don't even have to use the software that comes with Insta360.
Right.
Wow.
I'm just not. I'm having a hard time understanding Final Cut with that particular plugin.
Right.
But I've understood the
It's a learning curve.
360 very well. So what I do is I manipulate it and put the angles for how long and what direction, whatever the case may be.
Right.
And then I finalize it and save it as like an MP4 or whatever the case.
Yeah, MP4 is a
and-
better file because it's not as it's more compact. I forgot the compressed.
Right. And then I bring it into Final Cut Final Cut Pro or Luminar 4, one of the two.
Yeah.
Hey, Dre,
Yeah, Carlos.
Hey, what's up,
somebody's
Dre?
suggesting maybe you do a little of this.
Yeah.
It's
I
5:30.
saw Al. I
Okay.
saw Al.
I don't know if you can see that.
What it says?
It says, up and away, a group of students created a prototype drone capable of carrying a person, complete with a school chair for the pilot seat, which they hope will be able to carry passengers in the future. It was just on ABC News.
I guess they'll need a helmet for that one.
I hope they got some prop guards on that because the last time I seen somebody try to fly with one of those big drones, the props could have chopped them.
Are you talking about the dude that was hanging from it?
Yeah, that prop
Yeah.
could have sliced that kid's throat.
That was a big ass drone.
That's what I'm saying. That's so dangerous. You need to have not only prop guards, you have to have proper prop guards. You can't just have the little plastic things, that come with it. You need something you need something that's real strong, which is going to add weight to the drone, obviously.
Oh,
That
come
if it
on. Who
does
needs
fall-
props? We just need like 300 balloons. We've already seen the guy fly away at his lawn chair with the balloons.
Man,
Breakaway
that's what I'm saying.
props.
You could just you're more safer with the balloons, right? So
You are.
if those props are spinning and you lose control and that person falls and the props get near them, they're gonna get opened up.
Well, and
Especially
you're
a big
talking
drone like that.
4 props, going like that. That's probably worse than a damn helicopter when it hits.
So wait, this is a drone that you just hang on to?
No, somebody was not
No,
supposed
it was
to be hanging onto
a
it.
dad was having his kid hang on the back of a DJI Agro drone, which are huge. I think it's a quad, not a quad, but I think it's a
Might be an
copter.
Oh,
6
the
or 8.
one on top. Yeah,
And
they're on top of
and
each
he had
other.
he had a kid hanging onto the bottom of it, and like he said, he did the first time, no problem. Then he went over a fence and on the other side of the road, of the yard, and I don't know if the kid swung with it, whatever, threw it all off balance. The kid fell off. The bird went down right next to him. And like you're saying, could have chopped the kid up. And I don't care what kind of prop guards you're talking about. That's just crazy.
Yeah, you know, remember Mitch's story about the helicopter and the guy that basically died because he got his head chopped off from hitting the blade on the helicopter?
Yeah.
Serious.
The RC helicopter. So yeah, those blades are deadly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And something that big, those motors strong. That would have just nicked the kid in the wrong place, even like hit him in an artery in his leg or anything. He was bled out right there.
I've cut Charlie with these little, you know, I mean, he is thin skinned, but I've cut him with these little things. And that's not a lie. I have pictures.
Yeah, but that's just like it's no drone shots. This video in particular was just trying to help people with the vlogging part of it, because I know a lot of people get turned off when it comes to vlogging because they see some of these guys with these big cameras, like the mirrorless cameras and the gimbals and all that stuff, and something like that could run you up to 10 grand. You know, if you're thinking like $2,000 for a Sony camera, a decent mirrorless camera, and then you got to get a lens, then you got to get a gimbal. You know, you could be up to $3-4 grand. I just did a little setup with the GoPro, and Carlos is my witness. I just run around with this thing and a little microphone, and it's fine. You know what I mean?
Rode Video Micro is great.
Yeah, well, that one is the Movo, MOVO, and the reason why I got that one over the road was because when they had they had a couple of reviewers like battle it out, you know, and that one, shockingly, that one was better than some of the guys that had the big one. Like it not only beat the mini one, you know, the mini Rode, but it was beating out some of the bigger Rode mics that people were using. So, you know, for me, I never did a comparison because I didn't have both. I saw a couple of videos and I said, let me just purchase this. It was like under $100 with the dead cat and everything. Hero 7, the little gimbal, and that's it. And the thing I like about this setup that I'm showing in this video is that, you know, I'm always running around. I don't need something delicate throwing in the book bag or too big that I got to lug it. I already have like an Air 2S FPV drone, extra batteries, something like that. I literally could it has a quick release and I could disconnect it from the tripod and it could fit in the smallest pocket in a Jam Sport. You know,
right, you don't need something big to vlog. You don't need a damn.
Can I add something to all that?
Right.
I mean, you could spend thousands of dollars, but if you don't have content,
right? But
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and Carlos, to even add to that, look, see, that's the Hero 8. You see how the lens don't come off? In this video, I also mentioned the reason why I went with the 7 over the 8 and why I didn't get the 9. Now, the 9, the difference between the 7 and the 9 is where you plug in for the external mic. On the 9 is the same door for the battery. So now you don't have the door pressing on the battery because you have to take off that little the door to plug in the external mic. With the Hero 7, you could plug in the mic. It has a different door than the battery. It's just, you know, just for the mic. So you don't have to worry about exposing your battery, or what if you're just running around and the battery gets loose and then you're not filming.
I had
so
to get
they make an adapter
to even be able to do that.
Yeah, they actually make a modified door,
like an aftermarket.
Yeah, it's an aftermarket replacement door, so that you can plug into that USB-C.
So I mentioned that because when the 9, you know, when things like that happen, it takes a little while for all these other companies to come out with stuff. You understand? Like the little aftermarket door, they got to measure it out and then make it and then test it and all that.
Speaking of which, I'll be back in a second. Let me go get mine and I'll show it to you.
What have you guys heard on the 10? A couple of small reviews I've heard sound pretty good.
I'm liking what I'm hearing. Yeah. I'm liking what I'm hearing, and I like the fact that it's the 5.3 60K. That's fine.
Would you fly with it?
The four, no, I don't even, you know, I'm not like you guys sticking stuff on 5-inch. I think it'll be too heavy. It'll take away from your battery time. I think I would recommend a 7 over the 10 when it comes to that, because 4K is 4K. You know what I mean? And if you're posting it on Facebook or YouTube, I mean, you could get a good picture quality on YouTube, but if you're just doing a lot of Facebook stuff or Instagram, it wouldn't even matter. It depends what you worth, if it's worth it to you to lose that extra minute or so, you know.
Where are you here, Stevie?
When I was vlogging there, I think I was in Croton on the Hudson in Westchester County. Compartment here. So I just explained.
Over there.
Now I can pop that out. It's a little past Terrytown. A little past Terrytown.
Right before you go
it's
over
past
the bridge.
Yeah,
it is past the bridge?
Yeah, but it's on the Westchester side, so you're not even. It's like across from Rockland County. So if you go over the bridge, you're like parallel to Rockland County, Westchester and Rockland. So it's like on the other side.
I see you got the Ulanzi parts too.
Yeah, so they sell kits that literally most of those parts come in one kit. So it seems a little complicated when you see all the parts there. But that thing in my hand comes with the little bracket that's on the table there, and then you get the adapter there. That's for the audio to do the external mic, and that's it. You're done. And like I said, look at the price for a Hero 7 and compare it to running around with a big Sony camera, $2,000 Sony camera.
And it's a step up from having to use the Osmo, the big Osmo kit.
Yeah, I mean, if you got stabilization, it's up to you what you prefer. But going back to what Carlos said, if you don't have content, you're going to spend $4,000 on a setup just to vlog. It wouldn't make sense. I would say, yeah. So what I would say for anybody because I know a lot of people are filming a lot of drone shots, right? And every time you see some of these other guys that are doing videos, they're doing vlogs and drone shots. So a lot of people want to break that ice, right? They want to do a little bit of both. At least explain where they're at. They don't have to do a whole big talkity talk thing, you know? So I think in this video, what I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to explain the setup, and I'm trying to just help people get to that level. Why invest $4,000 or $5,000 to find out you're not really into vlogging? You understand? Spend a couple of $100, you know, and then feel it out. And you won't feel like you took such a loss. You know, start off like this. Most people got a GoPro anyway. You just got to get the accessories.
Well, let's face it, too. Facebook's version of 4K is like, what, 720?
It all comes down to the saying of the right tool for the right job. If you're just doing vlogging, that's perfect.
So
do what I do.
Here's that door that they make for the Hero 9. It's a Ulanzi.
Right. That's what I have there, Ulanzi. So they figured it out. They figured out a better way.
Let me take the door.
Show it again, Rod, while your big screen or solo screen. Oh no, wrong way.
So
there you are.
I'll take the door. I'll take
the hole there.
off.
Yeah.
So they made a modified door.
Smart.
So that you can plug your stuff in.
Now that door will fit on the 10. Because it's the same body,
it should
right?
fit on the 10. It should fit on the 10 because it's the exact same body.
Because I'm looking at getting the 10.
Yeah.
Because of the 4K 120 frame.
Yeah, the 4K 120. That's what I was telling Jim. So, anyways, there it is. Snap back on.
Right.
And there you go. So now you can plug everything in and not worry about the battery or anything else falling out.
Right. Right.
And it's relatively, I don't know, it was like $20 or something like that. It costs almost nothing.
Cheaper than that. Yeah. The way would be like this. Yeah, I would. I'm looking at the 10. The 9.
I wound up getting that $80 media mod, so I could do the same thing.
Should look like this.
The only addition that I like to it is it had the mini HDMI slot.
This is the better way to put it.
But other than that, if I just had that door, I'd be fine.
I would put on.
Yeah, I forget what that door cost. It may have been like $12 or $13. I don't remember it being much.
Because I'm not going to vlog, but
rubber bushings there, and this is all
I wanted to use it like Ron, put it on the motorcycle and all that. And then block out the wind. That's why I got those little phone things to block out that wind sound.
Right.
That's horrific noise.
Well, Stevie?
I was
going to ask you, have you ever thought about going wireless?
With what?
Well, like this is what I have set up here. This is a Tascam recorder with the Movo wireless adapter.
Oh, I do have the Rode wireless, the original one, not part 2. They came out with V2 that has like a double. I have the original one and I love it. Okay. But on the run, I just use the mic. You know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the run I just use the mic. Yeah, it's more convenient and like I was getting into before. I mean, if you see me on Facebook, I'm always running around with the family and stuff. I could always just take that thing with me. It's a GoPro. It's made for abuse, right? People tie it to mountain bikes and all this stuff, so it can take bumps. I throw it in my bag. I take it out of my bag, and I also mentioned in the video that Jim's playing is that once you set it up, you don't have to really take it apart. It's pretty much ready to go. Like all you would have to do is maybe loosen up the microphone and keep it straight. You can slide it in the bag, take it out. You just tighten up the mic. Maybe I disconnect the wire all the time because I don't want to get any weird bends in the wire. But it's just ready to go. You know, like I could literally be with the family and see something cool like a church to fly around, and I could just go vlog right there. They don't have to wait 20 minutes for me to put it on the gimbal and balance it out and do this and do that. You know, I could just do my little talk, throw it back in the bag, and I'm done with it. You know,
you can see how much space.
Hey Jim, did you see the private chat?
And also, you don't have to break it down every time you're going to use it. If you're on the run like I am.
Oh yeah,
Justin, I sent that email to you again. Did you get it?
Let me check real quick.
And also, in this video, for anybody in the chat that's interested in just vlogging and want to do this, in that YouTube video, I have links to everything. It's very inexpensive, most of that stuff. Even the microphone was like $60 or something like that. So you could probably be well under $200 for everything without the GoPro.
The other thing I would do, if you want to keep it really
well under it. So just something, you know, it's just something to think about.
Quick. I've seen you back up fast.
Yeah. Carlos has seen it a few times now. Like I just pull that thing out the bag. I start talking, blah blah blah, and throw it back in the bag, and I'm done. And I pull it out whenever I want. And it's ready to go.
That locks in.
I like what you said. You spend a few dollars to find out.
No, I haven't checked it out. I've been searching clips myself.
If you want to even get involved into the
not
only that, but even if you're going to get an audience, why imagine spending thousands of dollars and you find out nobody wants to see me.
It wasn't even worth it. Or you don't have the right content. At least you know, don't break the bank. Feel it out. Nice little setup. It obviously works for me. You know. So
it's like we tell people to buy the little tiny hook ready to fly instead of, you know, going full FPV. Find out if you even like the hobby.
Right. Test the waters. Don't buy a $1,200 bind and fly drone and find out you don't like it, and then you got to try to sell it to somebody.
Find out you can't get past being dizzy.
Yeah. A lot of people.
Some people
a lot
just
of
can't.
people.
It's
no,
just
they
like,
can't.
Okay.
I agree 100%. A lot of people, they put the goggles on and they just can't.
You know, I've had only twice. I've had two, and they happen to be two guys where I show them some of my FPV videos, and they say I can't look. I get dizzy. Like just watching it on the
looking
on the phone.
Yeah, my wife's that way. She has she gets motion sickness in the car sometimes. So
unless
somebody
drives,
like her,
right?
What's that? No, she doesn't drive actually. She's from the Ukraine. So but yeah, sometimes she can get motion sickness just riding along. So people like that absolutely couldn't use the goggles.
Yeah, I hear that if you're reading stuff on your phone while somebody's driving, that's a good way to get motion sickness. You ever heard that before? You're looking at reading stuff on your phone and looking at your phone. For some reason, the motion that's going on around you and you're focusing on this could get you. I know people that get sick like that.
It's hard for me to see It's hard for me to see the words because they're bouncing around.
No, it's something about the way the car is moving.
No, I get that.
It's like, yeah, something about that, and your brain is focused on the phone.
What we've tried,
reading
Stevie,
stuff, yeah. But I don't think it's me because I'm in the goggles. So
driving and flying FPV at the same time. Paul's tried it and Charlie's tried it, and they both said, "I don't like this. I'm feeling sick."
Yeah,
because what you see is not matching what you feel in no way, shape,
right.
or form.
That's the same problem pilots have, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
they can
get
right? because their heads their equilibrium will be telling them they're going one direction when they're actually not. So that's one of the things that pilots have to kind of look out for is look at the instruments. Don't count on your feel, because what you're feeling may not be
what's going on.
real.
It's
What's really
spatial
going on.
orientation.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, Stevie, is that a good deal what Matt put in the chat?
Hold on.
It seems like it.
That's a hell of a deal considering I paid
Yeah,
$350
yeah. That's a
for
good
the
deal.
bundle, which only came with one extra battery. So now he's got 6 batteries, $150 less than mine. But the only thing is what Stevie and I and Rod were talking about in the beginning.
Yeah.
The 10 is a major difference from the 8 and 9.
Yeah.
So
Well, I tell you about the motion thing. When I went to meet with you guys in Florida, I was using the flight simulator on the goggles, and one of my kids took a picture of me. I had the goggles on for the DJI FPV with the simulator on in the plane while flying. And we got pictures of it. I put one on Facebook. It was funny, but you know, the simulator, it wasn't not only the plane. I'm talking about if I'm sitting in my house with the simulator, the DJI one. I don't like it. I feel queasy with it. It doesn't feel good. I rather I do the lift off on the computer without the goggles, but with the controller for the DJI FPV controller on lift off, and I like that way better. But I don't like the simulator, and I don't get queasy flying the drone. Carlos has been there; he knows. I don't get queasy flying the drone in real life. I could, do whatever.
You think it's just the background and the things that are there? Because if there are a lot of things, it's like going fast in a car and the telephone poles sort of blurring by you can kind of screw with your eyesight. I wonder if it's something along that line.
Have you done a ride along, Stevie?
Yeah.
Have you ever done a ride along?
No.
Do a ride along and do it standing up.
Yeah.
Because
with
I
goggles?
think this is the difference. When you're flying FPV, you're anticipating, what's going to happen. So your brain is with it. But when you're a passenger and all of a sudden somebody does like a maneuver, and you know what I'm saying? It doesn't.
Yeah.
Try a ride along and see if you get a little queasy.
I didn't
Carlos,
do the
you're right
goggles.
on that. I noticed that in the helicopter versus the fixed wing when I work. In the helicopter, when I'm up front in the cockpit, I can anticipate it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm in the fixed wing, I'm usually towards the back. Matter of fact, I just had a case 3-4 weeks ago. We had to cancel a mission. We got to the sending facility airport, and I did not feel good. I come down off the steps of the plane, and next thing you know, I went sideways, and I'm laying in the parking lot, and they couldn't stand me up. Every time they tried to stand me up, I'd fall over. We had to cancel the mission.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
just because we were in a thunderstorm and getting rocked around.
You just threw you off?
Yeah, it threw off the way your body felt and what was actually going on. I don't know. The simulator, no matter what I do, I feel queasy. The DJI
I've heard that about the DJI
Maybe
one.
it's more realistic. Like,
no, I think it's something off about it, because I could fly fine. I could fly fine. I don't get queasy. What's funny about when I really fly is that when I have those close calls, my body physically moves.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that time? Were you there? I know Max was there when I like jumped forward a little bit because I almost hit something.
Yeah, no, everybody does. Or you lean.
Yeah, well, we all lean, right? We all lean a little bit.
The other thing I suggest, if you have other people do ride-alongs, is somebody spot them or they sit down.
Right.
Never let anybody do a ride-along standing up by themselves. Well,
I don't know, Carlos. I don't think I saw Night Train leaning during any of his flights at the drone meetup. So.
I guess not.
I've been pretty steady, but I've known to catch myself kind of going with it.
Oh yeah, especially
turning like I'm turning. Do the Stevie Wonder.
Paul looks to the left and down for some reason, and sometimes he sticks his tongue out. Kind of looks like Rain Man, but
yeah. But I did. There was one time I was chilling with Billy by Croton Dam, Billy Kyle, and I was looking at while he was flying with the goggles, I was looking at the the phone. It wasn't the goggles. I didn't have the. As a matter of fact, I had the FPV. Why I didn't plug in? I should have plugged in. I had my FPV at that time. We were both flying it.
Correct.
Yeah, but I did the phone. He was flying
Oh,
around, and I was
shit.
looking at the phone. The phone was plugged into his goggles, and I was just standing next to him. Oh shoot! They just crashed.
This
That's
is
what I was
Max
saying.
Ayres-
The fucking StreamYard froze right when they crashed.
Max Ayres video.
Yeah,
Mm.
That guy in the circle.
that's sick. I gotta watch that. I gotta catch up on my YouTubes.
Oh, come on. It's dirt track. That's why everybody goes to the dirt track. They don't want to see who wins. They just want to see the crashes.
Yeah, they want to see the
Exactly.
crashes, especially when you're just going around in circles. Like,
I mean, who goes to a hockey game to watch hockey?
I went to a boxing match and I caught a hockey game while I was there. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
and a hockey game broke out.
You see this one, Stevie?
What's that? That's what's up.
Carlos, did you see I ripped it on one of Dan's FPV drones today?
Capture some more, but I'm
No, I got to see that. I saw the title. Both you and him put one up.
Yeah, he did the
You got it.
5-inch. I only did his little tiny. I don't remember what it was called, but it was like a tiny hop.
Tiny whoop.
No, it wasn't a tiny whoop. He called it something else, but I can't remember the name of it.
Everything
was
on it
a-
is tiny. Don't worry about it.
It was fun though. I did pretty
Oh
good.
yeah, you got to get yourself a tiny hook too, ready to fly.
Yeah.
You know, I was gonna order one not too long ago, and then I ended up canceling it because I had to do something else. But
I hear you.
I thought about getting one because, you know, if a hurricane ever comes around and bored, at least I can fly it around inside the house.
It's good
Yeah.
inside, outside.
How long you been drifting?
In my case, I even fly my Mini 2 inside the house with the prop guards on because I have like 14-foot ceilings. It actually gives some interesting
Perfect.
views.
Just don't have any ashtrays around or loose papers. Wow, that's a lot of cars. Not all at once, right?
They let them go one at a time for the most part. But
Oh, okay.
if certain drivers, if they see certain drivers together that they know the track, like some of the veteran guys, they'll let them go like that, staggered. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
They'll point out like 4 or 5 cars. Sometimes I see up to like 6, 7 cars, and they'll let them go as long as they're all, you know, if they end up together somehow,
Mhm,
you know.
mhm.
But these guys are like, you know, it to me, like the drifting is like out of controlled situation. It's like it seems
Controlled
like they're out of
chaos.
control. It seems like they're out of control because they're skidding. And I've
Yep.
seen these guys do this in the rain. Like it'll start raining and they won't stop. And I'm wondering, like, how's this possible? You know, it's wet. You know,
Feel it. You just feel it.
but they know their cars. They know what they're doing, and it's amazing. It's an amazing thing to see, to witness. You know, to see them sliding and then in control, and it's like they're going fast and they're going slow. So it's like you're making a lot of micro decisions. You know, in the beginning, I was trying to do a lot of you know, full manual acro, you know, whatever, and it was not worth the effort, honestly. You know what I mean? Like it was like you could pull off a lot of the stuff in sports mode with a full turn, you know,
Mhm, mhm.
with the full option on. It's a lot of decisions, man, and it's pretty cool
Quick.
though.
Quick decisions.
Yeah, I edit a lot, so you don't see the almost the almost care refresh situations. You know what I mean? Like I've almost went into people's tires. I fly so low. You know what I mean?
But that's the best shots.
Oh man, if you see in the beginning of that video, I'm pulling up on a Mustang. I'm like almost camera to the letter Mustang on his bumper,
Mhm.
and that's like freaking 6 inches from the ground. You know what I
Those are the
mean? Like,
best shots.
and what's crazy, I don't know, a lot of people in the chat have a DJI FPV, but DJI FPV, if you put it in full acro, or if you put it in like sports mode, it's not going to protect you from crashing. It'll beep, but I don't know. I got to talk to somebody about turning off the beep, because literally when you're chasing cars, like with a DJI FPV, it's screaming the whole time. It's going beep, 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 the whole time,
Mhm.
because it's trying to help you from crashing. It's not going to stop you because you're going too fast.
Just
You're
warning
doing,
you.
Yeah, you're not gonna stop at 60 miles per hour and then 50 miles per hour. That thing is gonna drift as well.
Maybe there's
You know
a
what I'm saying?
volume. There's a volume control where
You know,
There has to
point
be.
with that. Point with that, I think that is so distracting, and I think a lot of people are looking down at their screen. Or well, I
Not
take
when you
that
have
back. You're looking
goggles
at
on.
goggles,
Yeah.
but it's distracting. I think it's
Look at
causing,
this shot.
that's
I almost
causing
go
a
into
lot of
this
the
guy's
crashes.
tires. Look, right in his tire. I cut it. I almost went in his tire. I had to like do a fast shoot up. You know what I mean? And I've done that many times. I almost hit trunks. I almost went in a guy's window because I was right by his window, and he kind of lost control and he kind of like locked up. So the car went from like 30 miles per hour to 0. You know what I mean? Like it just dragged, and the drone was still going. You know,
You
it
have
wasn't
to
going to
leave
stop.
yourself a way out.
Yeah.
Try to leave yourself a way out.
I will have a almost bloopers. So hopefully I won't be making a crash drone blooper, but I'll do a
come
couple
on,
of
you got to
almost.
keep up with Ken Heron, right? Got to have the
But
crash video.
these cars, it's hard to explain, but it's a lot of micro decisions.
You know what else,
It's
Stevie?
just you're making little
more
decisions like this.
The more you do it, the more you learn the track. You can do the track blindfolded. Almost.
But you know what I did the very, very first time I went there? I just ran the track. I did the whole where they drift in, like there's like a double loop. I ran it, and that footage itself looks pretty cool. Like if I just add music and play that, it looks cool because I started running the track, and if you look at the footage, there's cables. I don't know how high they are, but they're pretty high. They're not really low. There's cables there, so I had to stay below I wanted to stay high off the curb because the beeping was annoying. I learned to work with the beeping, but I had to stay at a certain height so the beeping would stop. But I had to stay below the cables. And the thing with drones is you could push forward and you could push back. And I know if anybody here has a Phantom, they know that sometimes when you're going back or forward, that drone will still dip, especially when you're going backwards.
Oh,
you're not even pushing
the video
down.
I did with the Inspire 1 Pro when I was chasing them around?
Oh, man.
Do you remember
I didn't
that?
see it. No.
I got it on the channel. It's about 5 years old now.
Right.
It is hard to follow those cars around. You don't know when they're gonna.
Oh yeah. You did play it. It was like a track, but it wasn't like that track. It was different.
Street.
Yeah.
Street drifting.
Yeah, they have one like that upstate New York. That's straight runs like that. You know, it don't have the loop-de-loops.
These guys now are sticking GoPros on the side of the door. Everything.
No, yeah. At this track as well, you see all the little GoPro attachments on the cars that they go by. Everybody's like filming themselves and making little videos for themselves.
Max,
See, that's where we were talking about those small, GoPro doing a mini, right? You could you could stick how many minis on a car, right?
You could do 3 for one run, and then when you go to the post work, you could just switch it up with the beat and have like one run with like an extended run. It's pretty dope. But getting back to the Phantom, they drop, right? You could be going backwards and they lose altitude for some reason. I lost my first Phantom 4 that way. It lost altitude, and I was doing low shot, and I ended up in the Hudson basically, not paying attention. There was other stuff going on around me. I got distracted. But they dip. So I'm flying the DJI FPV drone, and I'm trying to keep a certain altitude. But when it's going that fast and you kind of like doing the turns and getting the feel of the turns, your altitude keeps changing. But I got to the point that I was getting really low to the floor because I was saying to myself, I don't want to get FPV drone shots so high up, Like, I mean, it would be cool, but how cool would it be 2 minutes of that? You know what I mean? So right off the gate, I just started going low. And that's when I got all my oops videos from. Because those first few runs, I'm like level with the car windows, level with the bumpers. And those cars, like I said, they're fast, slow. And the drone is not that controlled, just because you let go of the throttle, that don't mean the drone is going to just stop. It's going to drift for a while. And that's why I got those like, going upward fast, They look pretty cool. And I'm going to be honest, I've been flying since 2016, right? The Phantom 4 was my first drone. With camera drones, I always had an understanding of my perspective because, before line of sight was even a term, I would keep the line of sight, and I'm flying around a structure, and I could see where my drone is, and I'll look at my monitor, and I could tell, oh wow, it looks like I'm a lot closer in the monitor, but I'm not really that close, right? With the FPV drone, I have goggles the whole time, right? I never really see how close I'm really to the object
Really?
because the goggles are on. What you see in the camera is different than what's actually happening right there. You understand? And with the camera drone, I could see, so I kind of know how far I am, so I could really finesse it because I got to know it, like, you know, from doing it for so long. With the FPV drone, I still don't know how close I really am to an object. So sometimes it looks really close. I might be far away.
Right.
You know, it's just because of the natural zoom that the camera has to it.
Well, is that because you fly multiple FPV drones, so the distance from the camera to the props in the front and the back are always a little different between them?
No, I have the FPV drone and that's it. But my thing is, at a certain amount of feet, it'll start beeping, right? I would literally have to go to I'm almost in front of it, take off the goggles and look at the goggles and see it physically, see the drone, so I could get a better understanding of how far I really am. You understand? Because if you look at a camera drone, sometimes you're looking at the structure you're near, and it looks like you're gonna almost hit it. It's beeping and everything. But when you look up at the drone, you're not really that close. You understand?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying, right?
3-dimension is completely different.
Yeah, the dimensions are different. The perspective is different from the monitor and a goggle.
But you
know,
can
from
get
wearing
used
a
to the
goggle.
goggles, though.
Oh yeah, I'm used to it. I just don't understand how much more closer do I get.
Right.
Well, a lot of times it's what they call depth of field. And
yeah,
like you said,
exactly. No depth perception.
Right. With a monitor, like you say, you're looking at two-dimensional flat screen. With the goggles, you're more immersed.
Yep.
So sometimes it's like you are a lot closer when you use goggles. Or like me, I use the Epson BT300, which is just like wearing a pair of goggles.
When I'm chasing drift cars, there's times that I see the guy in the passenger seat filming himself and filming his buddy. You know what I mean? Like I'm right there, like they're sliding and I see them filming, like they're going back and forth. I can see inside the car clearly. Like if I'm just maybe a foot away from the thing, but I don't know, maybe I'm 3 feet away. You know what I mean? And that's just the perspective of the camera, because a lot of drones, they zoom in on purpose because most people fly so high up in the sky. They're not going to have a wide view, like, you know. I'll tell you another thing with the like the Air 2 and the Air 2S and drones like that. If you're in 4K 60, that thing punches forward automatically. Forget about those zoom options that you have. If you're in the chat, you got an Air 2 or Air 2S, put it in 4K 60 and look at your screen. Then put it in the camera mode. You're going to see that thing push back. Go from camera mode to 4K 60. You're going to see this crop that it does on the camera naturally. And I'm not talking about those zoom options that they have now. I never really use those zoom options because honestly, that's a digital zoom. It's not like a lens zoom on a DSLR. They're actually just cropping into that picture. So it ain't like you're getting more megapixels. You're just zooming in.
Another thing to, at least for height, is use objects on your left and right to get an idea of your height.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Did
you see the video where I was chasing Mac's plane where he crashed?
No, I had to check that one out.
I was right up on him. Jim should play, I want Jim to play Drone Bums video. Where are you, Jim?
Well, what about that? Did he ever play that one on the show when you were chasing the plane? No, he didn't play that one. Oh, he did? Oh, all right. So I'll watch that on my time. I got a lot of videos to catch up with. I got to watch that one.
Minute and a half, but this is the one where Max actually crashed it into the stadium lights.
Unfortunately, the only video I seen.
Let's not talk about stadium lights.
Was Charlie's crack. Unfortunately, that's the only one I've seen lately. I try to keep scrolling, but it was too quick.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It was like right in the beginning.
See, the problem was the lights weren't on. That's why it crashed into the stadium lights, because they were turned off. So
you guys are talking about the depth.
Turned off in midday.
Where is Jim? Is he getting a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
So, she was trying to grind it.
No, that was Ron Lockwood making all that noise.
So
Trey,
Steve,
give me
what do
like
you
a
what do
day or
you
two, and I'll get those done for you.
what do you think of the
What's that, Justin? I didn't hear
M3 having the 7x zoom
The what?
telephoto?
Which
What
one?
do you think of the Mavic 3 Pro having that 7x optical zoom?
I said, give me a day or two, and I'll have those done for you.
That's going to be
Okay,
a
I
beast of
appreciate
a
that.
drone. I think
Was that
that's
the
gonna
rumor
be,
on that, Rod?
Yeah, so the little 2-camera thing, I think, is a 1-inch sensor, and then it's the second camera is a 7x optical. The Autel Evo 3 is going to have a similar camera, but it's going to have a 10x optical, which is rather interesting.
I think that's going to be a whole different quality of picture quality in comparison.
Oh yeah,
to some
for
of these.
sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
That zoom is going to be way different. Like you're not going to lose megapixels in that zoom for some. But the thing is
that
about
holds these things back is heat. That's why they stopped at that 1-inch sensor with the Mavic 2 Pro. If they can't cool those processors off, like you guys who had the Inspire 2, I know Al had one. The Inspire 2 processor was in the drone and was cooled by a fan.
nice. Yeah.
These processors get friggin' hot.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you know the thing about the Pro 3 and everybody, the Pro 3, whatever they're gonna call it, it's gonna be beyond what anybody needs. It's gonna be beyond. Like if they're saying what it's gonna be, it's not gonna be necessary for most people. If you guys are doing commercial
Right.
work, of course, it's a no-brainer. It's
But
gonna
it
be
already can't
lighter,
beat,
more
it can't
technology.
beat the Micro Four Thirds lenses I'm using. So
Right.
again,
So then
like
you
you
out of
say,
there
where
too.
does it
Yeah.
fit in?
Yeah, because you know with the Air 2S, if it checks a lot of boxes for the average flyer, the people that just fly for hobby and they like sharing their great images and stuff like that, that checks a lot of boxes.
And it's
So,
nimble.
yeah, and it's small and it does a lot. Like I said, it's just one of those drones that.
Well, I would say anything.
I'm going to
from the
disagree
Mini
with
one
your
up to
last
the Air
statement.
2S.
What was that?
What, Ron?
I'm going
Yeah,
to
Ron.
disagree with your last statement where you think it's going to be too much for everybody.
The average guy.
Well, okay, maybe your average guy, but I think the people in the areas that I'm at and doing what I enjoy doing, like wildlife, landscape up in the mountains and that, and
Right.
So you don't get that accusation of harassing wildlife.
Right.
You think
There's
if they
times
come
I've
out
been on different
You think-
wildlife, where that zoom would have been nice, and
Right.
that way there I couldn't have potentially. I have never been, but I don't want to be in that position where I have been accused, of harassing
Right.
wildlife with a drone.
Right.
But
Right.
somebody like you,
Yeah.
it better be optical.
Yeah,
Because
I think-
you with your Sonys and all that, you'll be able to tell whether it's digital zoom right off the bat.
right.
Well,
Right,
let me
but-
ask this about you guys talking about the zoom. Now, I have the Maverick Enterprise Advanced. Now, it can zoom in optical up to 16 and digital up to 32, but the result of a picture is not what you see on your device or the smart controller. Even though you might be zoomed in, the picture is still at the regular dimensions.
What?
Right, that's what I was.
yes,
That's what I was talking about with the Air 2 and the Air 2S. Like everybody
Right.
was so hype about the zoom, but you're actually just cropping into the picture.
Yeah,
the,
but
the
even
same
then,
megapixel.
yeah, what you see flying is zoomed in, but when you look at it in post, it is the normal size picture. It is not the zoomed in picture that you zoomed in on. So that's one thing you got to make it the difference is that everybody gets excited about the zoom. So if you're zooming into something, are you actually taking a picture of the zoom part, or are you going to get the regular picture without the zoom? Because that's what I get now with my Advance.
Sometimes you're better off, Dre. I think taking it with the regular, your regular whatever setting you're set at, and zoom in and post.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
said. That's what people get confused about when they talk about these birds can zoom in this much, that much, but that's what the pilot is seeing. It does not mean what you're actually getting saved
Right.
to the SD card. The SD
Right.
card is showing you the regular picture. It may allow you to have a nice, clean
I don't
punching shot
understand
in
that,
post.
man.
Yeah, that's just exactly what it is, Jim.
But that's what I that's what I was saying before, that I never use those zoom things. I know everybody be
Right.
raving about it. Oh, you heard they got this new zoom and this, that.
Right.
You
if
know,
I'm
but
zooming in on the Olympus lens, the 14 to 42,
hmm
I'm seeing the zoomed in picture. If I'm using the Z30, I'm seeing the zoomed in picture.
Okay, you're
you're
seeing it
not?
on your device, but when you pull that picture off your SD card, is it zoomed in? That same picture you saw on your screen while you're flying, is that zoomed in? Is that the result of the picture when you bring it in post?
I have to say yes, because my cameras were made that way. They're not
Right.
the same.
But he has a lens. He has the interchangeable
Yeah.
lenses, right? So you
Right.
should be getting the same effect I get when I have the DSLR and I zoom in. You should get
Absolutely.
what
Right.
you saw on the drone. But
And that's
that's different.
I don't know.
And
That's
that's what I'm
the
saying.
item that Jim and I were talking about before we came on. Why I'm still looking at the Evolve 2, which has the Micro Four Thirds, but you could put the standard Micro Four Third camera lenses on that camera, so you can have wide angle or telephoto or whatever you want, without
And
sort
that's
of messing around with the picture.
And that's why I'm interested in that X Dynamics, because of that. You can have the interchangeable lenses, and that when you actually want to shoot something optical wise zoomed in, that is the picture that you're actually getting.
Yeah.
And not just a zoomed in shot to the pilot, but it is actually a zoomed in shot as a result of the shot completed.
Yeah, and
You know,
the Autel has the interchangeable cameras, right? Which that's actually, last night we were talking about it. That's the one thing about the Mavic 3 Pro that hasn't been said at all. There's been no talk about interchangeable cameras on that Mavic 3 Pro, which the Autel has. But who wants to go through the process of unscrewing some screws, the little ribbon cable, change the camera to go from a normal camera to a telephoto camera? I'd rather have something like the Evolve where, just put the lens on and I have what I need.
But that's been around since the Inspire. That Evolve is going to be $3,900.
$36.99.
Yeah, I'm gonna say $4,000.
Yeah,
but
what I don't get
$3,700.
is why they didn't come out with the 20 megapixel lens yet.
Yeah,
well,
I said $4,000 is, like I say, Jim, $4,000 is a lot cheaper than paying $10,000 for a fully outfitted Inspire 2.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's if you get the ProRes and all that crap. You can get it for $3,900.
Well, keep in mind
in video in Mini 2, zoom is in footage you get in post.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're taking the shot,
and that was an X7 camera or X5.
No, Jim's droning is saying in the Mini 2. In the chat.
The Mini 2.
You see it?
I see it in video Mini 2. Zoom is the footage you get in post. Right. That'd be news to me. Because I know usually people say if they punch it in post, then you got what you want. But I don't know about what the I don't know.
So what's that? Stills? Are they talking about stills or video? Because I don't have a Mini 2.
Right.
If you're taking a picture, right? Can you zoom and then you get the image that you saw when you zoomed in? That's what he's saying, right?
Yeah, because it's all digital. So it's recording that digital picture. So it is what it is. It is what you see. So
okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's a digital, might be the difference, not optical.
Yeah. The other thing on that Evolve, if you look at the Mavic 3 Pro, right, it's coming out with ProRes. Well, the Evolve has ProRes on it. It's also got a CFast.
What exactly is the ProRes?
It's an Apple version of like MPEG 4 kind of thing. It's a sort of an upgraded. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
ProRes 444 instead of 420.
Right. Okay, that's right. I do have that in Final Cut.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, theoretically it should give you better video, but that Evolve has got that, and they went the route instead of using internal storage of using a CFast card, which is a super fast drive that you plug into it essentially.
That's another thing. When
you're getting gigabytes per second.
Yeah, but if you think, well, we're going back to the average person buying a 3 Pro, right? Now you're going to have a better quality footage, bigger frames, right? Most of these people wouldn't be able to even edit this stuff on their home computer.
See,
They would have to
Ding, ding,
upgrade
ding,
the
ding, ding,
computer.
ding, ding.
They would have to upgrade the computer just to watch
Here's
their
my-
videos.
I've
here's
been saying
my,
that for
my
years.
discrepancy on that is unless you're going to zoom in with the 6K, with the 8K, God knows what they're coming out with next. You know, when you look at the average person who's putting stuff on YouTube, does the human eye see that difference? No.
No.
What you do see is if they are taking photographs. Now, one of the things I've learned in photography is if,
Zoom in.
if you're going to zoom in, you will see that on a photographic enlargement. But for YouTube and social media, the average person doesn't know that.
Right.
And they're like, oh my God, it's 8K. I have to buy it. No.
Yeah,
What is it
so
you're gonna
that's
use
a
it
that's a
for?
number that the TV guys don't want out. But 8K, 4K and 8K, you really won't see a difference until
You
you
don't.
get to about 120 inches in screen size before the 8K actually becomes something that is useful that you would see.
And Jim, remind me, what is it the human eye is capable of seeing? It's nothing really above 4K.
No. There's I have a chart on it. In fact, I even put it in the Facebook stream.
Supposedly
And-
the advantage is after you post production, they say.
The
Right.
CIA,
With the 8K?
the CIA 1931, they figured out what the HVS, the human vision system, was capable of seeing. And when we're talking about Apple ProRes, that's 444. So the subsampling isn't there, cutting it down to like if I'm taking out just the regular Mavic 2 Pro, that's coming in at 420,
Right.
Mhm.
where you're getting, but I'm only at 100 megabits a second. And like Rod is talking, when you're collecting that much information, you're using a CFast card and you're getting gigabytes. The files are friggin' huge. And you got to have the GPU to process them in your video. And you got to have a good enough video editor.
Right.
Like I said, it's going to be beyond the average pilot's, what they need, basically. Why would you need? Honestly, do you think as many people are going to run to Best Buy as when the Air 2 came out and the Air 2S, when the Pro 3 comes out? And what do you think the price would be? 2,800 maybe, or something of that nature?
So that's the
You can have a
smart
little more on
thing that Autel is doing with the Evo 3, assuming those rumors are correct. So there's a base Evo 3 that is the 1-inch sensor that we have today. And then there's going to be the Evo 3 Pro that has the Micro Four Thirds. And then there's a third option that is probably the 1-inch sensor and the 10x optical. It's sort of the dual camera like we've seen on the Mavic 3. So they're going to have multiple price points that they'll hit, and sort of that low end price point probably is good for the average hobbyist kind of guy for a 1-inch kind of thing.
Rod, when is Autel? When is their expectation of this all coming out?
That's a great
Hey, Matt.
question. So the first one that for sure is going to be
Matt.
the Nano, because that's the one literally over the weekend Autel actually posted that,
Oh, really?
which basically confirmed. So the suspicion is that's going to be here by Christmas. It probably to compete with the Mavic 3 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then they have what they're calling the Lite, which they obviously have, because if you look at the video of the drone show over in China, they literally show the Nano and the Lite sitting there, and the
What's up,
Lite
Matt?
is essentially the competitor to the Air 2S. So it's that medium size format. So I would presume not too distant future that one will be there. And then I'm imagining the Evo 3 is probably something that they'll show off at CES and probably be like next spring kind of thing to be the answer to probably the Mavic 3. And the reason I think it's that one is not so close, if that one was close, they never would have done what they did with the essentially the Evo 2 V2, where they put the new chipset in for the communications thing. You know, if the 3 was ready to go, they probably never would have made that decision. You would have, you know, why create a V1, V2 of the exact same product if you had the next gen you know, the Evo 3 ready to go. So in my mind, that kind of tells me that the 3 is probably a CES early next year kind of thing. The big change on that one is they've gone to the fisheye obstacle avoidance, like Skydio.
Right.
So they've gone to that.
You can't, Al. You can't put a micro four thirds sensor on a small foldable drone, and the body of the X Dynamics is a single shell. It's a solid shell, and that was out in 2020 when I went to that CES. If you guys remember the video I had put up, and the guy was talking about the 20 megapixel camera that was going to be interchangeable with the 12 megapixel. But they only came out with the 12 megapixel, which I don't get because DJI has had I bought my equipment in 2018 for the X5S, and before that I had the X5, which the X5R came out with the Inspire 1 back in 2015. What's the holdup? I don't technically understand the holdup with even like X Dynamics.
Right.
Because, like, you know,
Can we see some
these guys
flying
turn around
videos?
and they buy the M600s and then put the DSLRs on them.
That Jim, that was the whole.
All these numbers are driving me nuts.
The 20 megapixel camera and the. I remember that. You were all fired up that night.
You're talking about other brands and stuff. DJI this is why they are who they are. You know, they don't stop. They keep progressing. No. And this is why the competition is you know, falling short. You know, Autel's on their tail, right? But, you know, DJI is king. You know, and that's not fanboy talk. It's just they make reliable products. And everybody works hard for their money and they want it. Yeah, but Skydio, what it does really great, it tracks you, right?
Right.
How's the picture quality in comparison to DJI?
But on the same token, the average consumer, keep in mind the average consumer, the brand new person, like, oh, I'm going to buy a drone. Oh, look at this. It's got this many many megapixel. Right. They don't understand cameras. They don't understand.
They'll compare it to a phone before they compare it to a camera.
Yeah.
And that's where their big market is.
It's a flying phone.
Who don't understand, who don't know, the professionals who, the professionals who know better, we're not going to buy it.
This is going to be the biggest thing, like Stevie was saying, when the Mavic 3 comes out and this X Dynamics come out, it's going to be the price is going to separate professionals from hobbyists.
Right.
Because both these drones are going to be $4,000 up. I believe the Mavic 3 is going to be somewhere in the same level, but between $4,000 to $5,000. And that's going to separate folks who think they got to have the latest thing just to say they got it, or going to be the people who really understand what they're buying.
That's just it, Dre. Just like you said, if they come out with this, 20 megapixel this or whatever, unless they come out with a 4/3 camera, it's a bunch of bull.
Yeah.
But they are fooling the general public.
Yeah,
and that's nothing new.
But how are they fooling them? They're telling you what you're getting.
Yeah, the one thing they're not talking about, though, on the Pixel is the pixel size. So that 12 megapixel 4/3 with the X Dynamics is a 4U pixel size. We're like in the 1-inch sensors right now, even on the 6K Pro on the Autel is only 0.8. So you're literally talking a pixel size that's 4 times larger, which means you get way better low light And
Right.
in a lot of these megapixel cameras, they start playing little games with processing power to combine pixels together. They got to give you this artificially larger picture to do light and all that kind of stuff. Where
That is
just
called fuzzy math.
yeah, so we're having something that is you know,
Yeah.
having something that is just that large, and it doesn't, you don't need the processing power to sort of do all that combining of the pixels to kind of artificially generate that. So, you know, potentially that 12 megapixel could produce a better picture than the higher megapixel camera, especially if it's the same sensor size.
Hey,
But
they went with
is-
48 megapixels with quad Bayer systems. and
Oh,
all
yeah,
that.
yeah. All
Remember
that.
that? Yeah, that's discussion, Jim. I was after.
Yeah,
referring
and
to.
and like you said, the sensor size. That's everything,
Phil-
right? But
Phil
Jim,
couldn't
didn't you
deliver
mention
shit out of it.
that they put some of the tech actually in the drone that wouldn't fit in the camera? Like,
The Inspire 2 to keep it cooler and have that micro four thirds sensor, because it's running, if you're running Apple ProRes
right?
444K, that's taking about just under 5 gigabytes a second. You have to have they sell their own steel 1 terabyte thing that slides into the drone. And then you have to buy their special card reader, their SSD reader.
Really?
Right.
Oh
But-
yeah,
but
and just
it-
buying the ProRes is $1,000. Then
But
there's
Rod-
Cinema 4K.
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh hell yeah,
So potentially they could put the sensor in the drone
yes.
and just
They've
have
done
the camera in the front, and it'll capture to the sensor. So they could
Yes.
put a large sensor, so we could have this issue, because the dynamic range on these drones are terrible. Let's be honest. If you put the zebra print just to test it out, and you getting like a sunset, like what's behind Hot Rod, right?
Right.
If you expose for that sky, you're gonna lose the forest or whatever is underneath you, or the city skyline. You have to sacrifice a little bit and lose a little bit in the sky, and a little bit, you know, you got to find that balance so the bottom isn't completely dark. And this is the issue when you have a smaller sensor. You understand what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
have a
most
bigger
people
sensor,
are
you can bring
watching
in
it-
more light.
Most people are watching it on their computer screens, which gets about 6 stops of dynamic range or tone mapping.
Rod, that
At
picture,
100 to 200 nits max.
Rod, that picture behind you, that's with your Evo, right? 'Cause
Yeah, that's with
what-
the Evo. Yeah, that's
Yep.
the Evo.
I'll tell you what, one of the best machines I've ever used for best dynamic
Dynamic
range. is the
range.
Evo.
That
Yeah.
camera
The
in the
Autel,
golden
right?
in the this Pro, the 6K, the Pro, that the dynamic range in the golden hour is just flipping unreal. I mean, it's just out of this world.
What camera?
The Autel 6K, the Pro,
6K.
Evo
Yeah,
2 Pro 6K.
I've seen some really good footage from that 6K. It's a totally different camera to the Hasselblad. You got to really muck around with, like any normal camera, you got to muck around with it and learn the camera. And there's some really nice stuff. One of my mates down here in Melbourne's got some stunning stuff at low light, and I was really impressed with it. Really was. Failing that before that, I wasn't impressed with that camera at all. It was a bloody horrible picture, but it all comes down to learning the camera and getting the settings right for that camera, and it has got a really nice picture against Carlos's 1.1 millimeter.
And there's
No,
one feature
no,
that's
cam.
there's one feature that they have built in that I actually use quite a bit, and it's similar to DaVinci's sort of defog kind of thing. That's what they call it in there, and it's literally right in there, and you can sort of adjust that. Yeah, it's like the dehaze from DaVinci that's built into the Autel.
Well, how's it hanging
Actually,
there, Matt?
the-
I know
Jump to
Steve
another
sees what's coming.
conversation.
I know.
The Zen
I'm
User
teasing.
330 has a fan in it, so it defogs the lens.
You know, that's to do with your humidity. Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
you know what? I would rather do all that sort of stuff in post. I'm not sure how much control you've got over that. With that's in the Autel setting, is it? Did you say?
You can go from 0 to 10. 0 is basically nothing, so you can step into it and be really, really gentle, sort of like you would do in post as well. So You know,
Is
it's
it
kind of one of those
on your
just
screen?
look at it and slide it. Yeah, you see it on the screen. So
Okay.
you can see the effect on the screen. So you know exactly what you're getting.
Dehazing on a that'd be
Yeah, it's
interesting.
dehazing on the
Can I
drone.
ask you
Effectively,
guys
is what
a
it
question
is.
real quick? Stevie, I think I already know your not passion, but you started out taking pictures before you started out flying. Yes or no?
Yes.
How about
Yeah.
you, Rod? Pictures before flying?
Point and shoot, not actual real
Like
professional cameras.
photography. But I mean, you were more into photography before you incorporated photography and flying.
Again, the point and shoot kind of camera kind of thing.
Yes
so,
or no?
Yes.
There.
Okay, there you
Thank
go.
you.
Yes.
How about you, Mr.
Not
Matt?
good cameras, but
No, nothing. Not a thing.
We got a
And you
man
just
that can't
took off.
commit in the middle. He won't commit.
So
there's
you
a
like
difference
flying
between the
drones
cheap cameras and the good cameras.
first, or at the same time as pictured, the whole photography thing. Before that, you were just a hippie rock and roller.
It was, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
He was
It
fighting
was,
kangaroos.
No matter
it was-
what
yeah.
you do, no matter what you do, you're not going to beat a micro four thirds sensor
Oh.
or a full frame sensor like Ron's DSLRs
You
in a
tried.
tiny little drone.
Yep. And
You
like I
just
said,
can't.
if they were able to do what you said with the Inspire, put the sensor in the drone.
Yeah.
So you don't have that weight on the gimbal, right? And they got the lines running back to the drone, and you got a bigger sensor. The only thing is like you said, you got to cool things off and all the other stuff. So it's just not that simple. But that would make more sense.
That was why they had such problems with the 1-inch sensor. I don't think, if you check it out on the actual millimeter measurements, I don't think it's a full 1-inch sensor on the Mavic 2 Pro. Could be wrong. I don't remember now. It's been so long.
And that affects your life how?
Picture quality. Picture quality.
Carlos.
I'm not flying in the baseball field.
He got
Carlos.
one less like on Facebook.
I'm not
with his
flying in
picture.
an AMA field.
He's like,
Carlos is on
if the sensor was a little bigger, I know I would have got that other like. I was short one.
Oh,
Boys,
Dan
I'm
is in
big,
the house. Well,
Hey, Dan,
well.
how are you,
Since
mate?
There goes the
since
neighborhood,
you left
even
me out,
worse.
the answer is yes for me.
Now we're
What's
gonna
up,
go in
Dan, you
depth.
prick?
Carlos. Yeah, you prick.
I'm sorry, Ron. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you prick. Since you left me out, we're going to have to ask that question.
Well,
the answer
because
is
he
yes.
cut me off with this Mavic Pro sensor that was, affecting his life so much. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but still photography for 20 years.
You?
Yes.
So that's what you show us when you tell us that you drove by, which is still photographies. Tell
Yes.
the truth, not National Geographic, like Matt said.
Right.
So none of that. Okay.
Yeah. Matt's full of shit.
It's Shutterstock, mate. It's not National Geographic.
So there is new camera tech that is coming, and it's not really camera, it's sensor tech. And so one of the things that makes cameras sort of larger and causes all sorts of distortion in the picture is the fact that we have the curved lenses. And we have the curved lenses because the sensor we're recording on is flat. So what all the camera guys are currently working on, and according to one of the guys that I'm watching, they're all getting pretty close to having a curved sensor, which means then you don't have to have the two lenses in front of the sensor to sort of artificially put it onto that flat surface, which should make cameras a hell of a lot lighter because you can cut out half the glass. So that's tech that is coming that would be incredible for drones.
Hot Rod, you look good, buddy. You lost some weight since last time I saw you.
To be exact, Dan, about 65 pounds since April.
Good for you, man.
Doing the keto, right?
Doing keto and exercise and a few
Good
other
for you.
things, but
Awesome.
yeah, Mitch kind of inspired me on the
He
keto
inspired
portion.
me. Inspired Paul's down over 30 pounds.
The reason, guys, that I kind of fall back on that, my theory is for about 15 years, I shot with medium format cameras, which had the negative size that was God, it was damn near 2 to 3 times the size of a 35 millimeter. And I tell you, when you come to blow up quality, you saw the difference big time, huge. And
Yeah.
same thing we're talking about with these sensors, where you're looking at a 1 inch versus a 4/3.
Right. Yeah, when you shoot full frame DSLR, you know, you just can't compare a drone shot.
Right.
Like it's a whole different category. It's apples
What's
and
going
oranges.
on in this video? Anybody know?
Nothing,
Seriously.
Carlos. We're talking sensors. Shut up.
Oh, okay.
We got
I
30.
hope you
We got
out
30
there.
minutes more of sensor talk.
Right. Tell us.
Then we're gonna
something
turn
like
up.
that.
Then we're gonna start talking about bent lenses.
Carlos, this is just me out with the local PD. We're doing some aerial mapping shots of tow yards within the city. And
Can
I
you
was
fly
just,
in handcuffs?
and I just let everybody know I filmed this with a Fimi Palm and 4K 60 and at slow mo. The whole
You didn't-
footage.
You didn't use a tiny hawk.
Thanks for those specs.
No, I use a tiny hawk. It's
Did you say 4K 60?
4K 60 in slow motion.
Mm.
So this is how it actually came out of the Fimi Palm. I didn't do any post work with this.
Actually, my Pixel 5a does that.
Yeah.
Is that automatic slow motion at 60 frames? Is it?
No, you have to set it to slow mo.
I'm surprised
doing
the
a
props
shot
don't come out slower.
On the drone, or not at 60 frames, mate? Yeah, 60 frames ain't. If you went to 120 or even 96 on the Mavic Pro, it's a lot slower than that. Yeah.
So,
So where do you put that setting?
Yeah, back to your point on the size, right? So Blackmagic, who makes DaVinci, makes a lot of those cameras for Hollywood. And so the 8K video in Hollywood is actually being shot on a 12K camera.
Exactly. My point.
I just put two Mavics
Dan, do you
in
use
here and I got
DaVinci
8K.
Resolve for
Me?
your editing? Yeah, what do you use?
Dude, I've always only used my phone.
Yeah.
Power Director Premium.
I keep telling these guys Crayola, but they don't believe me.
Dan, how are you, buddy?
Hot Rod, are you in California?
Daytona.
Daytona. Okay, I thought you were from Florida, but you're talking about
Yeah.
Hollywood stuff, so I thought you might have.
Yeah,
Been
only
out here,
because
didn't know.
DaVinci is from DaVinci is the deals. That's their market space
Yeah.
is Hollywood and LA. So
Oh, okay.
What did you ask me, Ron?
How the hell are you? I haven't seen you in a while.
Ooh, I have my ups and downs. I'm surviving.
Well, good to hear, buddy.
Thanks, man. Hi, Jody.
He's still a prick with all those ups and downs.
Dan's
Hey,
always
man.
Dan
Always.
stop being a
But at
prick.
least he's consistent. What you see is what you
Yeah.
get.
100%.
That's why we love him. He's a consistent prick.
Exactly.
Well, love is, you know.
So Carlos, are you guys out here doing hula hoop dancing, or what's going on in this
All right,
video?
so I wanted him to show Drone Bum's video, not
Oh,
this.
this isn't where we're going to see crack, is it?
No crack here. No, what originally the plan was take the Mavic Air 2 or 2S or one of those.
Let's see
FPV,
more of that
yeah, on FPV.
spectacular footage. You can't beat that clarity.
What sensors on that one,
You gotta
Carlos?
understand this. You gotta understand something with FPV. It's not about clarity of footage, even though you can get it. It's about the flying experience. If you're looking for clarity, then look at my videos.
You know,
It's
I
the flight experience.
I have to agree with Carlos on this one. It's, we fly $15, $20 cameras. Like, that's the whole idea, is that you keep it cheap because you're going to bang up.
Right.
No, you will
Yeah,
let
it
me
is.
screw with him.
Oh, absolutely.
Totally just got dumped on that one. But no, Carlos, Carlos.
Going back to the story, so we Paul tied a hula hoop to the drone. It started to pendulum. Drone fell. So then we did this, and then we said, you know what? I was looking around and I see the roof rack on this. Actually, all right. So I see the roof rack on this gentleman's silly smooth FPV. Came from Connecticut. I said, can we tie the hula hoop to your roof rack? Sure, no problem. Very friendly guy. Cooperated. Then we did that. That got kind of boring. So I said, do you mind driving up and down the field while we try to fly through your roof rack? And he said, sure,
Damn.
no problem.
That's a nice
So we
guy.
did that too. But here's the cool part. Me, Paul, Charlie were hanging out. Charlie had forgotten a piece of equipment. He had to drive back to Queens in Suffolk County. That's a whole nother story. But anyway, Silly Smooth drives up, pulls up, walks up to us, and he goes to Paul. He goes, "You're drone bum, right?" He goes, "I've seen your videos." Like he didn't even, took a chance coming, possibly seeing, or hanging out with us, and turned out to be a really, really nice guy. His name is Daryl.
How are you guys?
But the cool part is that he doesn't say, "Hey, Paul." He goes, "You're drone bum." I don't know. Like drone bum's famous, just for the record.
How are you guys not? My focus would have been on that tower the whole time.
We already been there, done that already.
Oh my gosh, there's so much you could do with that tower. Have you bumped it yet? Have you guys been bumping it?
Nah.
Have you been roof
a
sliding
or something?
Roof sliding? Anything?
No, nobody wants.
Oh man, you gotta. Man, I would relentlessly attack that tower.
I wanted to play drone bum's video. It's more entertaining than this. This was just actually I give him credit for holding it while I'm flying through it.
Carlos, next time you go, I want you to go up the tower, point up, and then free fall backwards, and then roll forwards out of it, and see if that doesn't take you for a loop.
I'll work on that,
dude.
Actually, that guy Silly went into it.
Oh yeah, bro. I feel like I need to fly that thing. Oh, this is nice. Where's this?
This is in Alpine, New Jersey.
And who is this flying?
This is in Jersey. This is me.
Yeah, you got some pretty good signal range inside.
Considering. But again, it's the flight experience. Don't look for...
Well, no, I mean, but you have serious penetrating signal now. That's
I'm
actually
a good penetrator.
This guy
was too easy.
I could have let that one go.
I'll keep giving it to you too.
There's a chandelier, and I mean, you try doing this air mode in a house.
I do. I love it.
Easy.
I've been flying acro in the house. I love it.
This is pretty dope.
But I mean, give it a go. Give it a whirl. Boink. even the best baker burns a loaf of bread every now and then.
You do have a lot of room to play with there, though. I would really enjoy that spot. Yeah, that's crazy.
Inside and out.
Yeah,
I like this.
That's pretty dope.
That's an FPV
friendly.
play
Every time
pen.
we go there, come back full stomachs. Always have great barbecues. Let me tell you, Charlie.
Bacon.
He's a good man. Let me tell you, he's a good man. He even put a birthday. Today's my birthday, just for the record. 59. I just remembered that. But he put a birthday.
Happy birthday.
See,
Happy birthday.
Wow.
Al gets it. 100 yards away, tower, and they're flying through hula hoops. He gets it. That every time I go to that spot, the whole time would just be tower related.
We've been to the to the towers. Got to do something different.
Gosh, you got to try different stunts on the tower. Push your skills, man.
Depends on your budget.
Wow, you're not going to do much just going up and coming down and then rolling out. It's that. What I'm looking for is the adrenaline rush of it. So if you go up and you don't know how far you've fallen, that's what makes it fun. Is that can you get out in time and not smash the ground?
And then you find out you can't. Party's over.
Dre, what did you set up here, man?
This is when I was setting up the house. We just had it remodel, and I bought these nice Canadian speakers from Fluence, and this is some of the gear I have in my living room, which sits behind the piano, so you never see the gear. All you see is the speaker, and you see that DAC that sits on top of the piano, and you see these speakers.
Shit.
Who plays the piano?
Nobody. My youngest played a little bit. She played a little guitar, but didn't stick with it. That piano belonged to my grandmother. Well, that piano's older than me. So it's real wood piano. It takes about 4 people to move it and stuff. It doesn't go anywhere, dude.
The old iron frame.
Yeah. And stuff. So yeah, that's all this was just playing little sample music and testing out these speakers I had picked up.
So it's like the pool table that came with my house. They sold me the pool table because nobody wanted to move it.
Yeah, that's kind of like, well, I say we sold the property to my grandmother's and to a developer, and we flipped that money and bought 4 other houses, and this was part of the family heirloom. But I said, well, give me the piano.
My
She's
mother
all
has
at
a
our
stand-up
house.
piano like that.
Yeah, my mom has 2 organs in her house. My mom plays piano. She has 2 organs in her living room to this day.
Wow.
2.
Yes, 2 of them, 2 organs.
One for each hand.
Yeah.
So
My
Carlos,
older brother. Yes, I was going to tell you, Matt.
Oh, sorry.
I'm
Go ahead.
Matt, I was going to tell you, my older brother passed away about 17 years ago now. Plays 7 instruments, self-taught. And he ended up being a studio musician and stuff. But he especially was a drums, but he taught himself to play piano, guitar, bass, drums, played the saxophone, pretty much.
Wow.
I'm talking about now my brother, he probably had more talent in his right hand than most people have with both, and he's left-handed. He's just naturally talented individual. My older brother was.
Some people pick up music like that. My brother was like that.
Yeah.
Couldn't hold a job for shit, but he could play a freaking guitar.
Yeah.
Knucklehead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's the definition of a musician.
Probably true. So Carlos, I was going to say you're going to have to talk Jim into bringing his matrice next year to hold the hula hoop for you, because I bet his matrice would do it really well.
Effortlessly, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna put a piece of foam together that's much lighter so we can do it. We gotta do it at least once. Somebody wants us to put or to set up a ring of fire and fly through it.
Probably all kinds of things we could do at that park.
These are old videos.
Holy
This is Cunningham
moly.
Park.
Oh yeah, this is the Germania.
This whole park, I believe it was a weekend, and nobody's in it. It's like just for us.
There must have been a COVID lockdown you didn't know about.
No.
Really? You're avoiding the mainstream.
Yeah.
Hit it. Maybe this is Max Air flying.
First of all, Carlos, happy birthday. And second, I second that. I will fly through it if his thing holds it with my 5-inch at full tilt.
Actually, I like your idea that never came through.
What's that?
I don't want to say it because I want to try it. But it involves a circular thing about 10 feet tall.
I'm still going to do it. I ordered it. I'm waiting for it to come in.
Since then?
It takes forever to get things like this from China.
Holy cow.
Yeah, man.
I like that idea.
I'm still going to do it. I'm just waiting for it to come in.
Flushing Meadow Park, Corona Park, near City Field. That's the Unisphere, the tower where they filmed
Men in Black.
That's the one.
Yeah.
And Max is flying in it.
Yeah, send it.
That's dope.
That was pretty cool. He's a good pilot.
What's crazy is right next to that park, well, across from it, there's one of those fields that you could fly legally with the planes and all that stuff. They fly over there, and the airport is right next to that.
And
the airport is right near
there.
that. Yeah, but you can, and they got a field right there, and they got the airport right there.
And it's near, and it's
right next to
it's close to
LaGuardia.
LaGuardia, but it's not that far from Kennedy either. So
No, JFK and LaGuardia, like right there.
it has to be at least 5 air miles or less. Would you agree?
Mhm.
Like air miles, not Van Wyck Expressway miles.
Yeah, they shut down that whole area just recently for the U.S. Open. It was right by there.
That's
Alright,
actually
boys.
back there. That stadium is the tennis stadium.
I'm out. I just stopped in to say hi. I got to fall asleep. I haven't slept basically at all. So,
You have
See you,
yourself-
mate. Take care, eh?
All right.
yeah, I went and hung out with
Good rest,
Justin
dude.
earlier, and now I'm going to sleep it off. Yeah.
All right. Good night, bro.
Hi, y'all.
Look,
There
this
we
is-
go.
Look at
this
the
is the
steaks.
barbecue that Charlie
That's what we're talking
puts
about.
together.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Actually,
the guy's
that's
class
something.
act. Class act.
Speaking of flying at airports, that's something the airports are starting to experiment now. Is drones with the speakers to scare the birds off,
Mm.
and they're starting to use drones for that
Okay.
function instead of the dogs. You know how a lot of the airports will either run the
They don't
cars up
just
and
set
down with the
speakers out
speakers.
throughout the stadium, because I've heard that at BJ's or Costco's one time. I hear this loud bird noise, but there were no birds. But it's to scare the geese away, I think.
Yeah. So
Similar
the
to what
airports
you're saying.
use multiple things. Some they'll drive vehicles up and down with speakers on them. Some will use dogs and send dogs out and sort of try to flush them out of the weeds and stuff. So, but essentially, drone with a speaker, you can cover a whole lot of ground.
Yep.
Right.
Just has
And
to
you
be
could
coordinated
control.
with the
Yeah.
tower, though.
You got to be a control situation like that you have the pilot and you know what's going on. It'll make sense.
Yep.
Because in certain beaches like Ocean City, they use falcons. They get falconers, those guys that have the
Gloves.
birds
Sure.
of prey,
Yeah.
and they just cross the boardwalk. You know, they walk and the birds would cross and scare all the other birds out.
God, hey boys, I've got to go too. I'm in between
Me too.
coats of paint at the moment, so I'll have to. I'm doing some renos around here, so I'll have to get going and get onto it.
I'm right behind you, Matt.
Yeah, me
Yep.
too.
Appreciate
too.
it, guys.
Yeah.
No
Jim,
worries.
thank you.
Good seeing you guys. Thank you
Thanks,
for
Jim.
the opportunity, Jim, of course, sending that link. And I'll talk to you guys. Take care. Everybody in the
All
chat.
right,
Good
You
night.
too. Good night.
All right.
Good night, guys.
All right. Bye.
Appreciate it, Stevie.
I'm probably not far behind you. I should probably take a hint from my newest family member who is hanging out next to my keyboard taking a nap. So
You guys and your cats. Who else just got one? And I'm saying to myself, if you have a 3D printer, that cat's going after it.
yeah,
You know?
he probably would. He's going to be a big boy because he's a ragdoll and a male, and the males can be 18 to 20 pounds. So he's going to be a big boy.
Wow. I like these cars.
I know they're like the older cars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on Long Island, we used to have, what was that? Islip Raceway, that stock car raceway. You remember that at all, Carlos?
Nah.
Maybe Paulie does.
He's older.
You know, it just seems that everything goes down. I remember.
Anything you mean? Anything fun they take away?
Yeah, the Long Island Arena. We used to have the Long Island Ducks, which was a hockey team, and I saw
That I remember.
Frampton Comes Alive. I saw there, and you know, they're probably tearing it down to put a neighborhood in now. I don't know.
Paying a
It's
lot of
just-
high taxes out there.
I saw a video the other day of empty, not necessarily NASCAR, but it was just empty raceways.
Really?
Yeah.
They
Which
must
is
be the
another
small
thing,
ones
Rod.
like this, though.
Do you know? Have you seen that TFR that they have around the Daytona Speedway? That's annoying as shit.
That thing is zero for a pretty damn good distance away from that place. So
Can't get and then they have right down the same road is that airport.
yeah, the airport shares the property with the track. They're literally like right next to each other.
Carlos, did you see all the happy birthdays, or you're on your phone? You did see them? All right.
Yeah. I saw them on the phone and on the screen.
Although the interesting part is, Jim, for the 500, they actually flew drones during the race, including an FPV drone.
I know. What is this? It's okay if you own the TV station, but you and I can't.
I'm sure they applied and did the paperwork, but you know, as with anything, big businesses like that.
That was recent. You're talking about, right?
Yeah,
Flying
it was this year.
FPV drone. Yeah.
Yeah, that was this year.
I think it's a
February.
good way to capture the race. I don't know.
FPV is the only one that's got any kind of speed where it's
Not
you'll
for
get a
nothing.
camera time of longer than 1 second.
Yeah.
But I think you'll get less chance of a flyaway or less, you can disarm and just let the bird fall.
Sure.
Even if it falls in the track, where with a GPS drone, there's a lot of electronic, who knows, can go wrong. And I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, in the NFL, I know they have cable cams. The cameras are actually on cables.
No
I don't know if
cross.
they do that at like Daytona or anything.
It's
I
too
haven't
big of
seen
a-
the setup.
It's too big of a space.
Yeah, that track is way too big for that.
Yeah.
I was figuring if you put a pole in the middle, but then again, you'd have to have two drones or sliding cameras.
That thing's like 2.5 mile track.
Yeah. Have you ever walked that?
No, I as long as I've lived here, and I've been here since 2014, I haven't gone over there. But when we were talking about the drone and depth perception and stuff like that, I was thinking about the track, because how high is it from the bottom to the top? 75 feet?
I don't remember, but we took the
Wow.
golf cart course in there, and they say,
Yeah.
okay, now go walk it. And you're at the base, let's say the infield, and you're
Yeah.
trying to walk up that ramp where these cars are going. You could literally fall backwards. I forget what degree angle it is, but you really understand how they can do 200 miles an hour and have problems.
That's got to
getting
be at least
down.
35 degrees, right? 35,
it's-
40 degrees at certain points.
It's heavy. You feel it. You feel
Yeah,
it.
I'd have to look it up to
I
see
know.
what
Wow.
it is. But it's really steep. But that's the only way you can get cars going 200 mile an hour and not have them fly off the track in the corner.
Jody,
Yeah, right.
do you know the angle? Does it say the angle of that on Xbox One? I'll tell you that, and that new Microsoft simulator. Technology is getting
Gran
unreal.
Turismo.
Which is why, Rod, I don't understand why there's been kind of this stall in drone camera upgrades.
Yeah, I would think they would. I was surprised that with the Mavic 3 that there wasn't a Micro Four Thirds, because everybody was assuming that they were going to go up, and with the Evolve sort of doing their Micro Four Thirds and being within a few $100s of probably where that Mavic 2 Pro is going to be at $3,000 plus, it makes you wonder. And then now with the Autel flat out having a Micro Four Thirds.
Let me ask you a question. Are you at all concerned about buying a drone before remote ID comes out?
No.
Okay, you're not concerned.
So the answer, I actually asked the X Dynamics guys this question, because obviously I don't want to go drop $3,700 and not be remote ID. And what they replied back to me was that the hardware that was on board is compliant with remote ID. So basically what that implies to me is that it's just a matter of the data that they broadcast on that 2.4 or 5.8 frequency that all the drones are using. I presume they'll probably use the 2.4 frequency, since like all of them have that Wi-Fi frequency on it. And it's literally just them emitting the data that the FAA wants them to see on that frequency. And it would make the most sense. Why the other part of that you have to think about is if they didn't do something like that, then the FCC would have to carve out another frequency band to support remote ID, right? And I don't think they're going to do that.
I thought they were going to go in the 900 band because on the antennas I use for RTK are on the 900 band.
You think they're going to postpone that remote ID once it comes down to the time? They're going to extend it again?
I think they will, because to date there's been no remote ID produced or approved by the FAA. So it first has to be approved to be produced, and then the FAA has oversight.
Come
allowance.
on,
In other words,
hey,
they
Jim,
get to
we
be
have
right there.
we have RFID at retail. It should take them like 2 weeks to design this thing.
I'm recording. Getting ready, yeah.
Are you recording? Do you record the whole time?
No, I'm just started now. I thought I was by accident.
Oh, that's because all the good stuff.
No, I'm not recording at all, man. I never record.
So here you go, Jim. We need your Matrice to hold the hula hoop next year.
The hula hoop.
I thought if you use some
And
fishing
Paul's
line
gonna try to
on the
gap
two
it.
bottom sides, because he wants to fly it from the drone.
On the bottom.
Yeah. So it wouldn't turn from the
And then Carlos is gonna
thrust of the
then he's gonna
motors.
power loop it.
Yeah.
Before you do anything else, where's the nearest hospital?
Yeah, we're here. We're on the ground. And
You're at a
and
nut
then
house.
Knife edge it.
Actually, and then knife edge it.
Maybe they could have used 2 Air 2s. So you had one sort of go right and one sort of go left, so that you could hold the hoop semi-steady. Because if the line was,
I mean, even if you had
That's a
fishing
lot of
line
flat
feet.
flush.
with 2 tent stakes,
No guts, no glory.
Yeah, put like a 10-foot rope on it. You could figure it out so that the prop force wouldn't be messing with it.
Just a little fishing line on the bottom so it didn't do the pendulum thing. You'll see.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. That would make sense too.
Charlie, you filming it? What's your battery level?
When do we get to see it?
Battery level is hurry up.
Is this Charlie or Drone Bums?
I just 99.
Charlie,
you
you
gave
filming
me.
there.
You get in 3
That's
minutes.
Drone Bums. Okay. You'll see it.
Oh, there it is.
Keep it low. We know it's doing it, no problem. Watch out, guys.
I'm actually surprised it wasn't
It's holding by
spinning.
itself. Nice. Impressive.
So, Jim, to answer your question, it's 31-degree banking.
He does good job editing this guy. He makes his videos entertaining.
You guys had a nice weekend too. All that grilling you were doing.
That's right. I sent you some pictures, man. We ate like kings.
That's it's holding by itself. Nice. Impressive. I'm gonna put the camera forward so we can see you coming.
Have you flown through it yet?
You gotta go higher. You go higher? Whoa.
And that was that.
Yeah, why did that happen?
The pendulum, and he had a, what was it, motor something. Overload. So what was happening was compensating each time. You know what I'm saying? Once it went this way, these props, and it just went out of control. Whoa. Look at Charlie.
A little too much weight for the software to compensate for.
Yes.
Sort of the same thing that humans do driving a car when you sort of lose the back end and you oversteer. At that point, you're not getting it back.
Oops, sorry.
Wow, it just winked out.
That's exactly right, Rod. It tried to compensate.
Yeah.
I didn't go near it. You didn't go near it? I didn't go near it.
Let's just say that software is not designed to be FPV and be past 45 degrees.
Did you see the title of that video?
Always blame Carlos.
Yep.
That's the title of that one. Oh, I shouldn't have stopped it so quick. Let me put this second part onto it. There's actually video from the drone looking down.
Yeah. I'll show you Drone Psyche's perspective of the same thing.
Yeah,
so the question is, will this wind up on Ken Heron's next crash video?
Oh, I don't know. He's going to have to ask for permission.
Hey, how bad was the drone okay?
Yeah. Crack
Okay,
prop. No biggie.
Let me get this out of the way.
Yeah, the grass looks kind of soft there.
It was just cut too.
But you don't see it. Oh, now it's starting to. Yeah, now you see it. In the shadow there, swinging back and forth.
And here it goes right there. Whoop, whoop, bam.
So it just amplified itself, you know, swinging.
Oh, yeah.
That sucks. That was a Mavic 2 Mini?
No, Mavic Air 2S. Look at Paul's flying. He did awesome. Copy link.
I'm surprised he did that good with the Air 2S.
See, we need your matrice.
Something heavy duty.
I'll tell you what, Rod. When everybody was saying that the DJI controllers were cutting out the FPV controllers, I didn't even want to turn on when at the meetup, you know.
Yeah.
With that wind and all that, I didn't want to be anybody's problem or anybody blaming it on me.
Jim, when you get a chance, that last link, the best part is like the first 10 seconds. That's Charlie's video that I just put up a link to. Drone Psyche. Charlie.
Okay, I see it. Man, last week when Sean came on and we talked for about 2 hours after the stream ended.
Wow.
The things you wind up talking about, you know? Like, look how many things we covered tonight. You don't even mean
Actually,
to.
oh man, Jim, I want you to consider something going forward.
What's that?
You know how we talk about people once they're dead?
You mean
this
like
guy.
in
Look at
reverence to? You mean like Rick Halber?
Yeah, let's do that while people are alive. You know, one a week. Do an alphabetical order. You'll be next. A, B. Channel names. No, I'm
What do you-
serious, though. Let's celebrate people while they're alive instead of waiting until they're dead. What do you think? Think about it. Just ponder that in your head one day.
It's quite the idea because I have a lot of footage that was just straight footage. You know what I mean? It was never edited or anything like that. And I just put it up. Even like that when I was watching the drift racing, running around chasing it. That was back in 2016. I didn't edit it. I didn't touch it. I just put up 6 minutes of it.
You see what
And
his
I was
T-shirt
actually
says?
surprised how hard it was to try and follow those cars around and anticipate when they were going to, because some of them will stop and start doing 360s. Sorry, I'm late. I didn't want to come.
Check out his dance moves.
Oh, why am I not playing it? All right.
Oh, look.
Yeah, the first 10 seconds, definitely, Carlos. Yeah.
I see Charlie.
And it bent.
So the lesson
Paul
is
has two.
never let a guy do the hula hoop. Got it.
Not at least Paul. But it's fun to watch.
And try to got it. At what height?
Yeah, food for thought. Absolutely. Think
See,
about
that's a wide open spot, just like I've got down here. That's
This is
perfect
going to
for
be
you
epic.
guys. Do you get tired of flying it? Is what I'm flying in the same spot.
Sometimes, but I still go because I like flying and I like hanging out with these bananas. And we always figure out something different to do. Like we fly and drive at the same
How do you
time.
feel
We
about
did this
this?
thing
Is
with the
it
hula
good?
hoop.
Feeling
You know, we just you saw the one with the cart going up and
Yeah.
down and me trying to fly through it.
Is that on here at all? On this one?
I can put it up. But yeah, we just have fun. You know what I mean? It's also hanging out, not only flying. But we do a lot of flying.
And then
Maybe
there
you
was
should
the
do
one-
like the remote control car kind of thing where
chase a
you
car?
No, where you jump the remote control car over top of the drone.
Well, that's a whole nother hobby. This is Drone Psyche doing it with a 1S drone. Let me find
He did
mine.
it. He did it.
Yeah, he made it. He made it happen. Drone Psyche's good.
What was the
Considering
one
his
where
time.
you were hanging out of the back of the car with the hatch
Oh,
open?
Jesus. I'll bring that one up too.
How would we do that? Al says, good idea, food for thought. Neil likes it.
Yep.
How would we
Basically, go through the channels that we know, that people know. Start alphabetical. One day you start with A. If you don't want to go in order, then you start with the closest to Z. You go A, Z, B,
just
X,
play their
Y.
videos?
Or let's say, Jim, what do we remember good about Jim? Or, why is Carlos a prick? Can't, that scumbag. Just whatever comes to mind. People could come on the stream and talk about them. People could put their 2 cents in the chat, stuff like that. Whatever. But you're alive. It's like give somebody the roses and the flowers while they're alive instead of in their casket. That's what I'm saying. I was talking about it with Charlie.
Carlos, my kid says you look younger than me.
59 today. Is Blind Neil 59? Or Neil?
Hey, it's a good idea, Carlos, because I mean, look at Mitch. You had
Mitch came to mind. Look, all of a sudden,
could have
in 1 minute,
easily
he's gone.
not turned out right.
Right? Yep.
Yeah.
That's another one that came to mind. Yeah. And Mitch, I like Mitch a lot. Very, very fond of the old prick. Nice guy. Stubborn old prick, but nice guy.
Anyways, I probably ought to get going because I'm going to have to chase my daughter to bed here shortly. So thanks
we're
for
gonna
having
wrap
me
it
on,
up.
Jim.
He's
And
50. Oh,
I enjoy it. And if you need hardware tech stuff, yeah, I read lots of that stuff. So anytime.
I was gonna talk to Dre. That's what I was talking
Y'all have a
about
good night.
earlier. All right, Rod.
good night, Rod.
I've been I just want to show these real quick. I've been getting these certificates to try and cover my ass for when
Stuff you like classes, certificates.
yeah, and I don't know if it's gonna help. I just see that they've got so much going on behind the scenes, meaning the FAA, that it's scary to try and figure out what they're going to do next, because we all know they're going to do the universal unmanned traffic management. So I've been getting these stupid certifications from them: safety and risk management. What's this one?
At no cost.
That's the recurrent test.
Are they
Yeah,
free?
a lot of them are no cost. That's for FEMA. This is the FEMA certificate. And then it's
Is
like,
that the one that Dre just got, the FEMA one?
yeah, I think Dre has it too. But are these going to help us? That's the whole idea behind it.
If anything, they have your name all over the place.
And
So-
is that a good thing? Because they ask you questions in the recurrent test about categories. Like your drones would be okay because they've got propeller protectors around them, prop guards.
Some of them.
And
Not
the
all of
rest of us would have to get that in order to fly. You know, when they came out with that rule, they said, oh, everybody can fly at light. This new update was supposed to allow beyond visual line of sight and flying at night, and everything was going to be wonderful. Bullshit. They added all those specs.
You have to
onto
get
it.
permission. Did you see the video that, what's his name? Ken Dobo, original Dobo, that he did with the phone call from the FAA?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool call. And the guy didn't seem like too much of a prick. I don't know if he knew Ken or whatever, but
no, they don't know.
He didn't seem like a ball breaker. You know what I mean?
No, not at all. And
Right?
even when you take their tests and all that, it's more informational than challenging. They're not trying to make you fail. They just want you to understand. Yeah, that's it.
But that is how they got his phone number, though. That's
But
how they
they're-
got in touch with him, through the trust, I think. Like, how did they get in touch with him?
I don't. Well, it may have first been email, and then he could have called them.
They called him. Remember, they called him. He said he got the call.
Yeah,
I asked him in the
that is
comments, and he
interesting.
answered. I think it had something to do with the trust test or something to that effect. Or maybe it was an email. But either way, yeah.
I've had some birds come at me, and you know who? The ballsiest were these little swallows.
You ever see them chase hawks away, little birds? Even I've seen blue jays do it. All kinds of birds. They got like little Chihuahua birds.
I wish I had the TWIC card, Jim. I would have been able to fly a job at the port. Yeah, it was one reason I didn't get the gig. Something for Part 107 guys to think about. The TWIC, Al, which one is that? Because I have the FEMA, the OSHA, all that other crap. What's TWIC? I don't even need half of these things. I'm trying to stay ahead of the game. Like one of them, it was really a pain in the ass.
The ones that you take, do they expire? All these certificates?
No, but you can retake it in 90 days.
But I'm saying you don't need to take it unless you fail.
No.
Right. So if you pass, you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, so
And
and then
then
they don't
they-
expire. You're good to go,
But here's the thing. Now you know that information.
and you're responsible for it.
Right. And they can prove that you know that information. right?
Yep.
From your own.
You
But
took the
this
test.
this one had very little to do with the training they were talking about. It's called safety and risk mitigation. Well, okay, you should have seen the friggin' questions. They were two-part. Billy's flying blank operations, and there's a tower somewhere nearby. What? And his other consideration would be, and then you have two things, okay, operational risk management and then crew resource management, meaning your visual observers, stuff like that. So one of the questions was, what comes under the realm of possible? They actually had a chart, okay, of risk management. There was yellow, green, and red. No injury, minor injuries, let's say, right? Or negligible injury, no injury, negligible, and then a major injury, which they would consider a crash. You'd have to report that within 10 days and all that. Okay, so what the hell does possible have to do with any of that? I mean, you know.
Trick question.
It was stupid. And they let you send feedback. So I did. I said the training had nothing to do with some of the questions you asked. All right, I'm going to see what Al popped up here.
TSA clearance.
Now, why did you need...
To get into the airport, I guess.
He's stuck all around airfields, aren't you, Al?
Making sure he's not a criminal dope dealer.
Well, if you
smuggler.
look, okay, I kept this up from before, just so you have an idea of all the nonsense. If you go in here, right, and you just put in the word, I'm looking for courses, learning courses for small unmanned aircraft systems. Look at all these courses.
Provided by who?
The FAA. And at what point?
Is there a lot of redundancies there or no?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Look at the recurrent alone. There's recurrent pilot, then there's introduction to recurrent, then there's recurrent for actual aircraft pilots. I mean, it's ridiculous. At what point? Now, here's another thing I saw. Okay, let me see if I have it in here. I saw something called drone pros. Well, who decides that you're a drone pro? Just because you're part of the AUVSI and you're paying?
Some people believe they're the solution. So, I don't know.
Yeah, everybody's better than you.
Proclaimed. Self-proclaimed, I guess. I'm not sure how that works.
All right, so this is right here. It came up on my other screen. Sorry. I just want to show this. Where the hell? There you are. When I go.
Oh, maritime
second
ports.
Screen.
So these are waterways, water ports, not airports for Al.
Now, the Transportation Worker Identification Credential. And even the OSHA 10 has to do with construction sites, has nothing to do with you or flying or any of this. I mean, let's say I started flying in 2015. So we're 6 years into this gig, and they still haven't gotten their coordinate. If you're going to be putting unmanned traffic management on us, they're still not getting us the courses out to where we can stay ahead of the game. Okay, I'll put them up, and he says getting vetted via the
right
TSA to enter the port.
I thought it was airport, but it's water.
I have two ports here: Port Canaveral for cruise lines, and then the Miami port. There's so many people in Miami flying now that I wouldn't even get involved. He had to get into the port of Stockton, or this would be for any port in the USA. So you're getting TSA pre-approved with that?
Pre-finger.
Yeah, Neil. Neil, there were so many things available, but none of them pertained to one thing. Like if you go look up OSHA, occupational safety and hazards for drone pilot, there is nothing.
For drone pilots? Why would there be? Isn't that indoors?
But they keep saying that this is a dangerous hobby.
Yeah, but you're not flying in the building.
Yeah, it is.
That's what OSHA was about.
I needed the card to fly the damn job. That is just insanity.
ID
And
doesn't
now
mean anything
it
anymore.
doesn't say here. I wonder what it would cost. Complete the online application, complete the entire process in person or at an application center. Schedule an appointment, visit the application center, provide required documentation, pay a non-refundable $125. A new applicant reduced rate of $105 and a replacement card is $60 if you lose it. And then you got your eligibility. Lawful permanent resident. Non-immigrant alien. What the hell is that?
Non-immigrant
Alias C.
alien?
Yeah.
A non-immigrant alien.
Look at that right there.
I guess, non-immigrant alien. Like an expatriate? Like a
And
dual
Al
citizenship?
says it's a 30-day process. So you pay your $125. You have to set up an application date for an appointment. Oh, it's an online appointment? And yet it's saying walk-ins are welcome. Let's see. OSHA is outdoor and indoor. It's any job site. Okay. So the only thing I was seeing was the OSHA 10, which was basic construction site safety. They can drive by a roof job and shut it down if they choose. Yeah, I did know that.
With
OSHA can
a
be a
drone?
OSHA uses drones. Yes.
Interesting.
Al says this is all a bunch of BS. Hey, Bill.
Of course it is.
Metro Drones just came in.
What's up, Bill?
Bill, this is something Al didn't have to be able to fly at the port by him. Port of Stockton, his was. I had actually not heard of this. And I was showing the other ones that I got just to cover my ass.
All right, so a lot of this is more for commercial, right? Not for having fun drones.
Yeah, none of it has to do with the trust or.
No, I'm just saying. What do they call the hobbyist?
Or the hobbyist. All right, but I'm telling you right now, Carlos, if you follow the rules, when that time comes, you're going to be stuck to an AMA field, flying under the CBO, the community organization's rules, whatever rules they are. Those rules will only be for safety.
Could you imagine all the drone pilots, all the RC pilots, planes or whatever, going to one little field to fly? Seriously.
No. And
weekend?
how many times would you do it? Do you want to keep flying at the same site?
Well, no. Well, that's a whole nother story too. But I mean, let's just say people love the hobby so much that they just want to see something in the air. It's going to be massive.
Yes,
it's not going to happen. Not in New York, I don't think.
As far as I'm concerned, we've ruined it for the guys who just fly those regular airplanes and been doing it for 50 years. Or even those helicopter pilots. They never had to register anything or go through any of the nonsense that that we've come
Once
up
the tech lets you
300,000
fly
drone
far away.
flights. 300,000 drone flights in RC airfields. Well, I tell you what, I still haven't gotten, since the FAA hasn't turned out a list of who is actually a qualified CBO or made any CBO rules.
Come on, you know some people that live in rural areas, they have big fields. Look where Ron is living. You think if Ron invited me to go fly over there, I'm not going to put up an FPV drone and fly because it's not an AMA approved field? And you have to worry about FAA police or something? You think people are going to worry about these things?
That's
Seriously.
my point, and I wonder where unmanned traffic management comes in. I don't know that drone delivery is really going to be a profitable enterprise.
There's so many variables, especially with global warming and the weather and this and that and forget about it. And then population, where people, heavy populated areas
and dense population. Try delivering to an apartment complex. Yeah,
some areas don't have their wires underground. Their electric, phones, cable, everything's above ground. They're going to have to, between that and trees, wind, weather, I don't see it happening anytime soon efficiently.
Only
now,
illegal
if you're on an island and you're a mile away from wherever and you need some supplies, medical emergency, that's a whole different story.
Yeah, they use that in places like Norway.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen them doing that.
Or even if, let's say, there's a bridge and it's cut off from, a major bridge and it's cut off from one area of the town to the next, you can fly shit over or stuff over. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
So
I always fly out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't. I'll fly in my neighborhood because I don't always want to go out to.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing.
And
who wants to travel?
I haven't gotten a lot of neighbors bitching since the last time, but yeah, are you going to want to every time go to those things? And if they're saying there's millions of drones owned by people, how many are actually in the air?
I was just going to say,
I've never seen another drone.
I have a neighbor next door. I asked him about his drone. He's had it for over 2 years plus. He doesn't take it out of the closet. I have another guy, took his drone out. Charlie had to fly away. So I'm sure there's a lot of drones that are just collecting dust as far as numbers.
Probably registered,
or
just
broken, and people don't know how to fix them. So they just.
Oh, yeah. That was that guy. He had, but the batteries were dead, right?
One of them didn't. Right. One of them didn't charge. He had IMU errors, this error, all kinds of errors. Just from sitting in the closet for 2 years, doing nothing. Useless. And I'm sure he's not the only one that has a drone that's just wasted.
Now, we do know where you live now, Mike. Well, that's the whole thing. If they turn around and say, well, Amazon Prime Air is going to be delivering a package, do they automatically get a TFR? You know what I'm saying? Yes.
I don't know.
Look at KB United. He says you guys don't get bored of flying the same fields. I do.
Here's the difference with FPV. Let's say there's trees and whatever open fields. You're not there to fly the field to capture the beauty of it or the landscape. You're there to fly the field, so you can fly in and out of trees different ways, and it's a whole. It's again, your FPV is the flying experience, not the photography aspect. That's at least for me. Maybe some guys fly FPV and do the photography, but no, you can. You know how Ed, Love My Drones, flies in that same area all the time?
Yeah.
You know Ed, right? But it's always kind of different at the same time because he's always crashing in different spots.
Yeah, he goes through the ladder.
But you know what I'm saying? He goes through different areas, so you can mix it up, even in the same place.
They're putting up windmills south of Mike. Fields and fields of them. Yeah, you would think so, right? But it's not.
Or cheaper.
you wind up paying. That's what we were talking about last week with Florida Power and Light putting up that solar farm.
You pay for the windmill.
Yeah, we're paying for them to put the solar farm there, but it's only feeding that specific group of houses that are being built right now. Which I'm going to put a video up of that.
That must be huge. How many? What size field?
It says it'll feed 15,000 houses.
But what? How
So
many?
it was
Acres?
500 square acres.
Wow. That's big time.
And then the bitches, they bought their own drones, put them in Percepto. I told you that. They come in their own houses,
though, right?
which open up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they also have guys that fly for them in-house.
Right.
And you can get on the subcontractor list.
They'll 1099 you.
Yeah.
That's not a bad deal. It's like Bloomberg. In the city, he has a fish tank in every floor. He has a lot of fish tanks, but he has somebody in-house taking care of them. He doesn't hire somebody outside.
In-house?
Yep.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Jim.
Carpenter.
Carlos.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you and everybody in chat. Hello.
Good. Steve's here. I'm going to go grab myself some pistachio.
All right. Steve, I was kind of talking about the relevancy of these certifications I've been getting. And then Al talked about he couldn't fly one thing because he didn't have a TWIC. I have never heard of this before. But apparently it's the Transportation Worker Identification Credential. It's required if you're going to be flying by the ports.
So it's a way for them to make more money.
$125.
Nope.
Steve, what do you think of my idea? Celebrating people's lives while they're alive every now and then.
Amen.
For a segment of the show instead of waiting till they're gone.
Amen.
Like the idea?
I agree with you.
Right.
Hello, everybody in chat. Thank you for saying hello.
Hey, Steve, what OSHA do you, as a contractor, have to have?
What OSHA do I have to have?
Yeah. You don't have to have any OSHA?
He has somebody on his staff do it. No, I don't know.
Well, I'm not. My contractor's license is not active. It's inactive. So the new laws now, you just have to have a basic OSHA, take a basic OSHA class, and somebody within the firm, because it's how many people that you have working for the firm.
Okay.
And I was after I got closed down my partnership, we had 25 people working for us maximum. And this is going back into, say, the late 1997 on through 2004, roughly, right when I closed it up. But now, when I was working by myself, I didn't need anything because I'm self-employed and I had no employees.
So you've heard of the OSHA 10, right?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's of no use. I've been trying to thinking ahead, getting the certifications. Like I got the FEMA certification for anything I could run into. I do get contracted at hurricane time for pre-hurricane inspection and then post-hurricane.
Post-hurricane, I remember.
Right. Which is okay, but they have never asked for anything more than the Part 107. But just to get ahead of the game, because I don't, none of us know what's coming down the line with rules. I went and took safety and risk management. I took the FEMA NIMS ICS course, incident command management, all the shit. And I was wondering, because I do the construction sites, should I get the OSHA 10?
Yeah. The one who would probably be a good one to talk to that is Dre, because he's doing it for a city. He's working for the out there city of San Bernardino.
City. Yeah.
And he would probably be, to me, the most up on the OSHA of people that we know. I mean, I know there's people here in that are in chat, and then people in our community that work construction. But it's the OSHA is technically federal, but each state has their own quirkiness stuff that you have to contend with too.
Right. In fact, that solar field that they put up has keep out signs, not no droning signs, has no trespassing signs. And I'm going to go so far as saying flying with a drone is also trespassing. Don't know. Anybody care to chime in on that?
I don't know, but it's dangerous to be around electric. I would think that's
well.
Just make sure you have your 1 foot in water when you're touching electricity.
Mm-hmm.
It's solar, man. Even when you're doing power lines, you're not touching them. You're 30 feet from them.
Yeah.
When you install solar, they tell you put blankets over them before you connect them, because right away they produce electric.
Oh yeah.
In the sun.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Hey, Brad.
It's like live electric.
Exactly.
You ever install solar panels, Steve?
I've been around them. I myself have not, because we have here in California, you have to have a special certification for installing solar now. Even though I have what they call a C10 contractor, they have a certification, an additional, because what we mainly used to do is we specialized in low voltage and fire alarm systems. And there we had to have a total special, multiple certifications for fire alarm, which is nationwide, not only for the state. Then you have to have the certifications with each individual fire alarm manufacturer. Because we were doing programming of the systems too.
Hold on.
You're talking about the whole, yeah, all right.
Bill, Metro Drones. Have you gotten any certifications like I got, or like I was talking about, or like?
He's talking about the main panel.
I was talking about. I'm talking about.
No, Steve is talking about the main panel with the fire systems.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he installed them, so I imagine.
And we'd also program them too. We would install. I learned programming with Simplex fire alarm systems, which is now nationwide Simplex Grinnell, and then the other one is Notifier. I programmed a lot of a couple malls over here. We programmed.
Was Star one of them? No.
No.
Open up, damn it.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Robert. DC current, that'll knock you in your butt quicker than AC will.
Yeah, that's the small recurrent. That's not what I'm talking about. This is the FEMA one, which is just incident command systems. And then you've got.
So you would put the system on the fire sprinklers as well, right? Everything.
We would interconnect with them, correct. We would pick up the flow valve off from them. We'd interconnect with a lot of things. Like at Disneyland, when I oversaw the work at Disneyland, because I was there for a retrofit of the fire alarm system at Disneyland. We were awarded that contract. And we got delayed so much by not Disney, just the projects that were going on at the time. We got delayed out 157 days on a 1-year contract. And by the time things got going, Disney California Adventure they were starting to talk about it. So then they'd ask me to stay on, because I left my company to oversee my company and another electrical contractor for the main park retrofit, because we retrofitted the whole entire Disneyland and the hotels across the street.
So you got stolen.
What's that?
You got stolen to go work for the other company, right?
No, I left my company knowing what it was. Our company was going to do it, and then our company was hired to do all the work through Simplex. And then Disney California Adventure, the Grand Californian Hotel, the Downtown Disney, and all the hotels across the street, because then it was, at its time, it was high tech. It was touchscreen, 27-inch CRT monitors. Imagine a 27-inch CRT monitor on it. They were selling for $35,000 at that time.
Jeez.
Going back to 1997 when the contract was let. And there's 2 locations, one in the basement at what they call Sierra Tower. It's one of the hotels that's got a glass elevator on the outside. And then the other one is in main security, which is behind the Bank of America in Disneyland. And everything reports to those 2 centers.
Hey, Brad. I saw you before. DC current, I installed mine for 4 years ago. DC current?
Yeah.
12 volt.
DC.
Solar. I mean, you can step it up 24, 48.
It's got to be converted
to AC.
Yeah.
Installed your own 4 years ago.
I had a friend of mine that did it. Yeah, he did it up in Big Bear.
You need inverters.
Have the panels come down enough?
The panels actually have micro inverters on each one now.
Yeah.
Jim, I don't need any of those certifications to fly construction. I got to. They just want proof of Part 107 insurance coverage. I hear you, and I'm just kind of getting them to cover my butt. I don't even know why. I just get them to cover my ass in the future because there's so many different rules. That 48901 that we were looking at, that ACE Advisory Circular 91-50C, remember that? And then, I don't know, man. They just got so much going on. The more I look at their site, you can go from one to another with all the different pilot projects that they've got going on and have had going on for years. If a clampdown does come onto us, I want to be able to say, I got that already.
Yeah.
You know?
And it all depends on, like I said, where you're at, because each state is going to have their own requirements. You've got the National Electric Code, the National Building Code. But within that, they'll standardize it. But even like our local city here, they just adopted the 2019 electrical code and building codes, even though it's 2021.
I've had nobody that I've flown for ask me. I've always volunteered my 107 certification because I want them to know about it. But I've actually had none of them ask me for it. And the whole point was I wanted to educate them. Don't just get Joe Blow, which they'll do anyway, I'm sure. Yeah, and that's just it, Al. I'm just covering my back. What? What's the grid?
Robert Glazer's trying to get off the grid eventually.
The grid is electric. He wants he wants his own
water.
electric power.
He wants everything. Off the grid means everything.
Yeah.
Technically.
If you've got a septic system and well water like me.
Well, well water is one thing, but it's being able to store enough. I have some friends up in Sonoma, California, where they were just outside of it when the Paradise Fire, where it just wiped that whole entire city out. Right. That was about 2.5 miles from them. They have a 5,000 gallon tank, and they just put in another 5,000 gallon tank because of the backup. Because what's happening now, because of all the water shortage in the state, every time the vineyards were around where he's at, because there's vineyards all around him, the moment they turn their sprinklers on, he can't pump water. It's done. They suck it.
Would 5,000 gallons even be enough to put out a fire?
Well, like for them, he's got 5,000 in one, 5,000 in another. Now he's just got the other one set in. His neighbor has a pool, which is almost 30,000 gallons. And he's got a trailerable firefighting rig. That's a pump that you just drop the hose in or connect it up, and high pressure and hoses, and they can fight it. Because when that Paradise Fire came in, they came to his house, the fire chief, and they're good friends. And he goes, Tom, I want to let you know, you guys need to get out of here. We will not come. I'm telling you, this is your friend. We will not come. And so he walked him back and says, come here, look what we got now. And he goes, yeah, you guys are probably better off than we are.
I know that in 1998 or 9,
Hey, man.
Florida, so we've talked about this before, Steve. Florida was on fire.
Yeah.
Fire
I
so
remember.
much that it jumped 4 lanes of Interstate 95 and caught this house on fire. We literally sucked the water out of the neighbor's pool to put this guy's house out.
Yeah.
I was literally amazed because I had not seen that before. I had not seen fire jump across 8 lanes of highway and start another house. And any little friggin' twig on your roof is going up like in seconds.
Yeah.
Seconds.
That's the big thing with the Tahoe fires that has been going on. The fire's just going from tree to tree, and that's what's traveling it across. And it's going at the top, not at the bottom.
Exactly.
So it's all up there, and they have no way of fighting it because it's clear up at the top of a tree. And shooting water up, all it's going to do is evaporate to get up there by the time you get it. Yep. But like in Los Angeles, San Bernardino, and other places, I mean, we've got the bombers for the big grass fires, but smaller ones with the helicopters that they have, they will actually drop down into people's pools, pull the water up right out of your pool, and then use it to dump on the fire.
All right. I don't know if this is a true story, but have you ever heard of people getting dropped out of these helicopter things because they go into like an ocean or something or wherever, and they go to pick up the water and they end up picking up somebody by accident, drop them into a fire?
I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that. There's screets on the suction hoses.
Oh,
he's talking about like when a helicopter fills the bucket.
They open up those things and just drop a whole mass of water. Don't they just?
Oh no, they don't. Rarely do they use salt water. It's all fresh water.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what? What I found, Steve, was the only way to really put out those things is smoke jumpers, and starting a fire line before it gets to you and knocking all these trees down and stuff, because you can't. People don't understand the heat that's generated, and heat creates its own wind.
Yeah.
Which then again turns the embers into just a flying fire.
Just a person standing next to a little fire affects the fire because of the heat, and I've heard that even. Jim, I gotta go. I'm gonna charge my phone and get ready for mañana. Thanks for letting me be on your show. Think about what I was saying though.
It's a good idea.
Let's celebrate people while they're alive, or let's tear them down. No, I'm only kidding. One of the other.
There's a few I'd like to tear down, but
there you go. We could do it lovingly,
Yeah.
I'll be the first whipping boy. I'll be the scapegoat. No problem. All right, gents. Jim, as always.
Good night, buddy.
Talk to you soon. Take care.
Carlos, good to see you, sir.
Everybody
you take care.
Chat, keep smiling. Fly your drones. Don't talk about them.
He's fully powered solar
Da Vinci Crayola.
On his 16 acres, sitting on an aquifer. He's sitting in high cotton, shitting in high cotton, as they say.
That's for sure. That is an ideal situation.
Hell yeah! So you're backing up the solar with the wind. Have solar panels come down to a price that we could buy them?
The good ones, no. The cheaper ones, yes. That I've seen.
I'm hearing in my own neighborhood. There's a Palm Bay community Facebook site. Guys are saying they're pissed off because they bought the system. Okay, it's $30,000. You get 30 years to pay it off. By the time you've paid it off, it's time for new panels.
Yeah.
Or even before. I don't think they last 30 years. I don't remember.
Well, they've gotten better, and that's where the cells, you've got to know where your cells are. And the best cells that people I talk to are still the ones that are being picked up that Tesla is putting up. Their solar cells are the most efficient. There was a company in Australia, and I think we spoke about this one time with Matt on here, and they had created a film that you could put on any surface. And the efficiency was up at 78 to 82% efficiency, and it was a film. And you just interconnect the links together. Now, obviously, you can only put so much because of the film,
Right.
and then you have to hit a block in order to take that amount of current that you're picking up. You know, it's only 24 volts, but you're going to be taking it back. And they were the most efficient. Now, the thing that Tesla's got, especially with their batteries that they have now, which will hopefully get better and better and better, is having the battery backup, to where you buy the battery backup system. You can have, I think it's either 4 or 6 circuits, I forget. But you can have like your refrigerator on it, a lighting circuit, a couple of plug circuits and stuff that'll keep you going, that if you totally lose power.
Yeah. And a lot of these guys here don't have that battery backup, which is what you just discussed. And now Robert's saying they have to be replaced in 20 years. Carlos said 25. But in any event, that's what people were bitching about. By the time you pay it off, you got to rebuy. So what did you really save?
Well, it depends on where you live. If you live here where we do, you'll get it paid off. My friends across the street, they have a 3,400 square foot, which is rare, that big of a place in our neighborhood, ranch style home, so single story.
Right.
His electric bill was running him roughly $380 a month in the winter. Summer, now you got air conditioning, pool, and everything else. He was pushing 5 something. With solar panels on, he's now paying $30 a month, and that's running the air conditioning and what it's getting back. The rest of the time, except for the high peak, he's getting money back.
If he owns the solar system already, then that's great. That's pure money. Yeah, that's pure savings.
Yeah, he bought the panels. He didn't do one of these. Well, we'll come to your house. We'll put it on, because guess what? That's a lien against your house until they're paid for.
That's right. That's right. I didn't think about that. You're right. The power companies here install them for free. That's Canada. That's got to be Canada.
No,
they'll install it for free, and then you're paying.
Robert's in Arizona.
I know. He said that the water was gold in Arizona, but they don't. It's 30. I want to say $30,000 was a common number I was hearing for solar systems, and like I just said, some of them didn't have battery backup. Because even when I open up my Facebook, even on the front page, there's, you know how they bullshit you. Now, solar is better in Florida now more than ever before, blah, 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 blah. Apparently, a couple of people had run to it. I run a pool and a hot tub, plus all the other stuff here, and the power company owes me money. That's Matt, because he has his own solar panels up. And I wonder how old they are. How old are they, Matt? Because I'm paying, this month was $300 in electric, but I'm on the 12-month plan. So if I use less I always use less in the wintertime, because I'm not running the damn ACs. Those ACs are killer.
We're paying start off base rate 15.8 cents a kilowatt. So hey Matt,
he's had them since 2013. Holy shit!
And for our electrical bill here, our house here, our normal bill, no AC, no nothing, we're paying about $230 average a month.
Without AC?
Without the AC running.
That's a little bit high.
We're the 5th or 8th highest rate in the nation.
Robert says Arizona. Yeah, I thought so with your water is gold comment. Well, if I wasn't on the 12-month we'll spread it out plan, I'd be paying like, I don't even know if I would be paying $100 in winter, but in summer I'd be paying $500 or $600 with the two 3.5 ton air conditioning units. Friggin' that never stop, man. When it's 90 out here and 90% humidity, they never stop. I'm like,
very
damn.
cool, Matt. Yeah, you saved thousands. Yeah, I'm still thinking about it.
Even if I could just get like one air conditioner powered, you know what I mean? That would be cool.
Well, remember, everything you produce, you can put up. It's a calculated formula which has to conform to the state and the regulations that you're in. Because anything you produce over what you use, they have to pay you back exactly what they'd be charging you per kilowatt.
Okay, is that national law? Nationwide law?
That's nationwide. That's through the PUC.
Because where PG&E just got everything burnt down, they have to replace,
Northern California.
Yeah, they got to replace all of that. And then we were talking about it last week. Florida Power and Light is taking out all the wooden poles and putting up, let's say the wooden poles are 40 feet with 10 foot in the ground. They're taking them all out and putting up these new concrete composite.
Yeah.
Jesus, they got to be 100 feet tall. Easy.
Well, we have stuff that comes in because San Onofre Nuclear Power Station from us here was, how far is it? Less than 10 miles from us here. All those high power lines, which are 500K voltage coming out, those lines would come across and they cross the I-5 freeway. But all the other stuff, which is a part of the grid, even though it's offline and been shut down, those lines are all powered up because it's a part of the grid for all of us here. And you'll see those things up there. But they're not concrete; they're steel. I want to say they've got to be every bit of 100 to 125.
And they're new, right? Fairly new.
Well, we've had them going up, and they keep adding to them.
Right. Okay.
In fact, they just added some because they shut down the I-5 freeway, so they could get the lines pulled across. They could get the starter lines in case anything should drop. I mean, they have the tag lines going across, but in case anything should drop, they've got all the roller pulleys going across to cross the I-5. And it's so funny because we live, you know how close I live to the freeway. I'm a block away from it. It was like, I'll never forget the first time they did this almost, 30 years ago, maybe? 25 to 30 years ago. Lynn and I were in bed, and all of a sudden we both got straight up in bed. And it was like, what? It was dead silence. The freeway had shut down.
Oh,
we woke up because it went dead silent.
There was no noise. I had the video of them with all the spools up where they pull the line through.
Yeah.
Interesting procedure. Easy. I mean, I'm sure it looks easier than it is. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because the cable weight plus how many.
Oh, the weight is
the feet between
astronomical.
Poles. Is it 100 feet between poles?
Depends on where you're going.
Yeah.
Our poles here are hundreds and hundreds of feet in between it.
Well, little did I know that when I was taking those, I mean, I knew they were going to be for the parkway, but I had no idea what kind of housing development they had in mind for that. They've got like a whole friggin' complex, which on paper, the pictures they've shown, looks like another city.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what the rush is, but that's going to turn us into taxes have to go up. You've got to put new police stations in that area. You got to put new fire departments. Blah 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 blah.
Hold
And
on one
you-
second.
you-
Ed Jeff
you pay
P.
the
He's
bill.
asking about this VPN. I don't remember the name. I got to look at it. Hold on a second.
Mine is 4RW. This was the cheapest investment I ever made. RA4W VPN. But then you got to go and look, see what. Look at their pricing. I got it for lifetime. And then you just pick. See countries accessible. You just pick which countries you want to be coming from.
Oh, you found it?
No, that's just mine, not yours.
Oh. I can't read. I can't read it on the box. I'll tell you what I do when I afterwards tomorrow. I'll get behind all my servers here because it's sitting back behind them, and I'll post it on your last video.
Oh, you want one that is not online?
It's a decentralized VPN.
I
So in
did
other
not know
words,
that.
you're going from here, your computer,
Yeah.
through the module. The module goes out over the internet, but where the VPN is hitting is at the fiber optic center main hubs. It's not going through like ExpressVPN where you're going from here through software to a server, from the server, from there. It isn't. It's strictly through the hub.
Okay, mine is not decentralized.
It was, I think, $200 for it. And this is just a small little thing.
And it doesn't throttle you at all, right? It's not.
It does. Okay, I'll give you for an instance. I've got, I got the Gigablast on Cox. So optimum would be 940 down and 40 up because I'm a copper. So they throttle you up at 40. If I was on, because I tested several different companies, if I was on ExpressVPN, it had me down to 80, 90 down and about 20 to 30 up on most of them. With that decentralized, I was still pulling down the last test, I think I was 385 down and full 40 up.
Is that the name of it? Decentralized?
No, I'm trying to think of the name of the manufacturer. Let me see if I do a search in my email, if I can bring it up in my order.
Marcel put one in for a deeper network, connect unlimited protection. Let me check that one out. Hey, Mel, we're talking about, he's got two of them up there.
Hello, Mel.
Decentralized VPN. Oh, looks like it's out of stock everywhere, though.
Yeah.
No, I do not want a router on it. That can still be tracked. Yeah.
Well, what this
made you
does,
think of this? What made you think of this, Steve, when you got it?
the VPN, because I'm using it to get in to protect my servers when I log in remotely. And I want a through path in order it's going to give me as fast as I can. and you're not paying any monthly fee. It's a flat fee. You pay it one time and that's it. And you can pick which countries and which hubs you want to go through. You can pick it all up and set it up. Of course, when it comes out, it's all mainly China, but China's are the fastest speed without throttling back.
Well, mine is software. I can pick what country I want to go through, but it's software.
Of course, all of them are coming up when I type in a search on the internet. Everybody of their VPN.
Yeah. The Deeper Connect one I posted says it isn't a router. You link it between your ISP modem and a router.
That's it, I think. The Nano, that's it.
Would you say Dead Nano?
Nano is the, I'm going to bring it up.
Okay.
Thank you for saying that. There, I'm sharing it. Can you share that, Jim?
There we go. Yeah.
That's it right there. I will get you the name, though, of where I bought it from. I don't know if you can get it here or not.
How long have you had yours?
I've had mine for, I want to say, a little less than a year.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this will play, if I can, if at least, can you hear the volume?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. I'll post a link in the chat and I will dig out where I bought it from.
And it was about 200, you said, right?
Yeah.
Night, Mel. We're gonna jump off in just a second here.
Take care, Mel.
We're just getting some good information. I'd like to get one of these. Not that I need it, but what the hell, right?
Yeah. And all you do is you plug it in, you know, it runs off a USB-C cable, plug it in your power strip. So I have it plugged into my, because I've got, 3 UPS systems running here. And I plug it into the UPS system over there, which runs all my modems and my server. Because they're real low use over there, so I can have them all plugged into one. So you plug it in there. All you do is unplug your modem from your router, plug the cable into the VPN, then the router, so it's going straight into the modem.
Wait a minute. My router goes from the modem to the router. You're playing, you're still sharing your screen.
So all it is just that little box.
The Deeper Connect Nano is the VPN solution that users have wished for.
Yeah. They've made several different models over the years. They used to be a lot bigger. It used to be about that big. Now that thing is this big. I mean, it is so small.
What's next for open source? There you go. In the decade of data. The nice thing is with open source, you can keep changing.
Yes, exactly, Edge.
Like that WP
Just a RJ45 jack coming out of your modem to the module.
Okay.
To your router, and then all you do is you plug in the module into the power supply to power it.
So you
and you
from
go
the motor
online and
straight to VPN.
What's that?
And that so you go from the modem straight to the VPN and VPN to the router.
Correct. So everything's protected.
Now I only have 100 down, 10 up. Anyway, I'm not gonna get better. They're adding houses to it. If anything, I'll get slower.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I don't think it'll slow you down. If you were to go that aspect, you use like ExpressVPN and all these other people. You could, Sean, how are you?
Tired. I am fucking dead beat.
Take a number, get in line.
Yeah.
100 degrees today.
Wow.
And humidity.
Real. Wow. No, I got off of a 12-hour shift, drove an hour home, got home, packed up my shit, drove to Twin Falls, which is another 150 miles away.
Oh.
Skinned an elk, quartered an elk, got everything taken care of. Woke up this morning in Twin, which I wasn't even planning on doing, so I had no clean clothes. I haven't even taken a shower yet. And then had to bring my Winchester 101 to a gunsmith, deposit some money, help my mom with pulling off the back sliding glass door, help my dad finish up the elk and stuff like that. I just got home just a little bit ago. I'm fucking beat.
You beat me.
A Rocky Mountain elk. Have you ever tried to skin and quarter one of those?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, it's big.
It's a big animal.
Yeah, each leg probably weighed 150 pounds. So, yeah, I'm beat. But I wanted to come in and say hi. And thank you. I appreciate the information. That helps a lot.
Yeah, I'll see if I can't find I'll do a search on my email. I'll see if I can't find the link of where I bought it at. And then
yeah,
you can,
I'm having a hard time finding it, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're becoming more and more prevalent as people have learned about them.
Right.
Because,
I found one for $2,200.
Shoot.
Now you're not decentralized. You're your own centralized VPN.
Right? Yeah, no shit. So.
Does this interfere with any passwords that you have on any sites now?
No, you don't have to do anything. All it is is just a way of encrypting.
Yeah, just which VPN do you want to actually connect to? Russia, China, Australia, whatever.
Because I went around and when I first got it, the defaults are set up on it, which
right.
Most of them were China. There was a couple others, and one out of Hong Kong.
Right.
I forget where else it was, and one in the U.S. So I thought, well, let's just see what happens if I move them all to the U.S. And you go,
yeah,
down.
Bombs. Yeah. Yeah, China and Russia are the best ones I've found so far.
Yeah, they've got the best infrastructure.
Yeah. Which is unbelievable. It's like, what? How's that work?
Yeah. Why would that be?
I don't know.
Well, look at who created the 5G technology. China.
Yeah, that Hawaii company.
Oh, that's their old one.
There's a new one.
That's the old one, I think. Yeah, because that's big. That's the old bigger one.
Man, this thing is small.
Yeah.
The new one is half the size of the one you're looking at there.
So you take the thick one like this, and they made it thinner, but it's still the same length.
Yeah.
So.
It does get warm.
Oh, I bet. So I bet it does.
That is interesting.
But the nice thing about it is then You know, because if you have, say you subscribe to Express or you subscribe to Zero, you decide to, I mean, there are so many different VPN companies out there.
Yeah.
You're paying a monthly fee forever and ever and ever.
Right.
Well, I've got this company, RA4W, had just started up. So I paid $20 for lifetime.
Right.
But
you're still running software.
Yes.
Yeah. So you constantly are still using memory the entire time.
Oh my God, Marcel, that's ridiculous. $500. I paid less than 200.
Right. Well, he's in Canada too, so that kind of makes sense.
Well, it's priced at. It doesn't. Well, it doesn't. U.S. dollars.
Oh, is it $500? Jesus.
It's on eBay.
Okay. Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah. No. Zero available, 6 sold. So he sold all of them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even at that price.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
Wow. New.
Hey, Maddie, how you doing?
Safeguard your personal business data, privacy protection, protects all your internet things. 7-layer firewall.
Right.
Blocks ads, malware, trackers.
Yeah,
Plug
that's the whole thing about your ads. My ads diminished immensely.
Oh, I bet they just completely went away.
That would be worth the $500.
Right. That's why I've been trying to find one for the $2.99 you paid for or whatever.
Yeah, it was less than that. It was $100. I want to say it was $199.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep looking, but now I have it. So, like, I know you told me before, and I looked it up, and then I forgot to save the freaking page. So,
I'm going to do a search on my email and see if with the name and see if it comes up.
Okay.
Paste, search, all mailboxes, all outlet items.
Oh,
yes.
Social stack.
Sorry, guys. I'm hurting. That's a lot of weight to carry around.
All right, wait a minute.
Well, here's one for $2.99 sold out.
I'd still probably, yeah. I think that's probably the same one I was looking at. I'd probably still pay that though.
This is Amazon.
Where? Yeah, that's the big one. But see, it's got me a little worried because it says Smart VPN Router.
Yeah.
Like that's the same one that Marcel was showing. So I don't want a router connected to it because that means that you have a different IP address off of it as well too.
And it only has a rating of 3. Why?
Probably because it has a router internal function to it.
World's first decentralized VPN.
Yeah. I'm not saying that that's not a good one. Like that's the same one that Marcel sent for his link on there. But it's got me a little worried that it's saying that it's a router too. I'm like, I don't need, 1.1 as well as 1.2 as well as whatever else.
Yeah. Get guaranteed network protection, a DPN in your private network.
Yeah. Here's the one that I found.
It sounds like
Jim.
the same one.
He's got one there. Well, it's the same company and it's the same design.
Yeah.
But I honestly think that it has an actual router internally. Yeah.
It's got to,
that's
right?
the same one. Same one I was looking at too. Is that from Wix? Is that where that's at?
No, this is from Stack Social.
Okay.
And the other one was, that was the other one, but I found another one which was Bits de Jour, and I don't know if that one's coming up now or not. No, it's still going on the same one.
Okay.
It's the same thing. They're both selling the same one.
Hey, Steve,
Right.
hit that view similar items and see what comes up.
Where at?
See
In
that
the green bar,
The big green view similar items?
just to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not even close.
I got a camera that'll decentralize you.
Yeah, there you go.
How
Does
the
it white
hell
out my face and put on the, the mask and everything for me?
There you go.
They're not similar at all.
Nope, not even close. Because that's probably what they went off of. Like Steve's right, it's probably going off of decentralizing, or and all those cameras do that. So,
Oh, that's why. Sorry about that.
There's your VPN.
My constant glucose monitor. I had pizza tonight,
Oh.
leftovers. So it's
Hey.
telling me my sugar's up because I got home late.
I'm sure. Well, be careful.
Well, when I hit 250, an alarm goes off.
Oh, okay.
So
250 is not terrible.
no,
It's double what's normal.
Yeah, I know, but it's still not like for a
But
diabetic.
for a type 1 diabetic for 40, how many? 5 years?
Yeah. It's a little high, but not bad.
All day today, I was running in the 80s, and
Oh, really?
oh yeah, I was running low. I had to keep on chomping stuff down.
Yeah, I was gonna say get a candy bar and all that shit.
Well, when I have that on my, because I got a refrigerator out at the project with a stash filled with water. I went through, I think, eight 20-ounce bottles of water there today. And I had a package of those, like, Hostess chocolate-covered donuts. And that's my treat when I get in there. So I chomped down a couple of those and brought it back up.
Check out the Pico. It's coming out sometime soon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look at that.
Anything between devices is a router, technically.
Technically, but they do other IP addresses, and the Nano doesn't do that. That's the thing. It should just go from one to the other, right? You don't have an actual extra end cap on your. You're not going 192.168.1.1 and then 192.168.2.2, are you?
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about the router part of it. So it probably does that on the one that says that it's a router. So if you can just eliminate that part of it, then it's less likely to be tracked.
Oh, it says buy.
Ooh, that's actually on the network, huh? Ah. And is that the Mini? Looks like it.
Wow, look at the 3 different models.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. No way I would do that small one. That would probably fucking start a fire.
Oh, this one here? Yeah. This is how big mine is.
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm looking for. That's the Nano. Out of stock, of course.
This bandwidth, 1 gigabit,
Yep.
$299.
Really?
That's not
with
bad.
With 2 gig of memory.
That's good. 10 watts. They're all 10 watts, it looks like. Well,
yeah.
The tiny Pico. Quad core.
Yeah.
The Mini is the only one available, of course.
Yeah,
So
but, but the thing is, even if it's bigger, you get look at the bandwidth. You've got a faster bandwidth, double.
$299 and you got full gig. Huh. Go into that.
Says. Yeah, you can buy it.
Kurt.
I'll post the link in the chat.
Yeah, scroll down a little bit there. I want to see something.
It doesn't. It goes to this there.
Oh, we'll go back into the click on the buy again, or whatever.
What's the difference between that and the bigger one?
500 megabytes difference.
Well,
And
if you look
1K
at this, you're looking
No,
at
I
you're
mean-
looking at those.
Yeah, I mean this one's called the Mini. So is there one bigger than that?
Yeah,
And
that's
okay,
that's
why?
the one that said router on it.
I had the Nano, and then this is the Mini. So this must be a newer model.
Click on buy again.
You have the Nano?
I have the Nano.
Yeah. Now scroll down. Oh, that's it. Oh shit.
Wait.
Okay.
Why is it?
Additional information.
I'm trying to find the description, but it's not giving anything.
Yeah, go to that. Yeah, they're right there. Okay, there we go. 1 megabyte,
ARM 64 full
2
cores.
gigs, DCN, yes. Looks like it works with Apple ID as well.
I put the link in the chat.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Where's it at? Hasn't come up yet.
No. Why didn't it come up yet?
I don't know.
It is. You can't
Oh,
see
there
that?
it is.
Now
There
I
it
see
is.
it.
It
just
took
a
all
little
this. Yeah, it took all this time to come up, Steve.
Ad
'cause of
blocker,
your-
yes. Tracker blocker, yes. Malware blocker, yes. Power source, USB. Batteries required, no. Connection type, wired.
Yeah, it's hardwired.
IPS, yes.
It actually may be
So it's
better to
ARM,
go.
ARM
This-
64 processor, huh?
Yeah,
That's a good one.
yeah, and I'll bet you it probably doesn't heat up as bad as mine, being in that bigger case.
Right.
Do you cool yours off at all, Steve? You got
I
a
just have
fan
it plugged in. I have it sitting kind of in midair, so air is completely around it.
Right.
I have the cables going across in the back, and between the two servers, there's a gap where there's an air circulating through, and it's like sitting in midair, suspended.
That's kind of a weird saying there. Orders are eligible for same business day cancellation. That's different.
You ain't canceling tomorrow, buddy.
Right? Yeah.
So you get a network cable, the plug adapter, the unit, and you get an instruction book.
So, okay. So it goes in one side and then out the other. Okay.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah. Well, just yours showed it side by side. So it's
Yeah.
kind of different to see it.
There
one
you go.
end to The other.
Oh, cool. So you can go in one side,
Right.
Yeah.
out
Yeah.
the other, and there's your power.
Right. That's what I said. It's a little different. That's kind of different.
Yeah.
1 year limited warranty.
What are you USB-C'ing in there, Steve?
Power.
The power.
Oh.
Right. Well,
You gotta have power to it, man.
there, right there. USB-C goes in and then it plugs into your power strip. Or in my case, it goes in my UPS.
If you click on the picture, it gets big. And you can
Yeah.
go through all three of them. See that little,
There
Yeah.
you go.
yeah, like that.
That's
That's
cool.
why I asked you what the USB-C was for.
Yeah. That would work perfect.
More power.
Work. Yep. Saved it in my book right now.
I wonder. Now, does this screw you up at all when you go to like an FAA site or something like that?
Well,
They
they
gotta
just
come
won't
up
tell
with
it's you.
I
Yeah.
go to Internal Revenue side. I go to the Secretary of State sites. I go to all. Nothing.
No problems.
No problems.
All right.
Cool.
You know what this stuff is great for? If you get NFL Game Pass, but I won't talk about that.
Right.
Yeah. Because if you're not in the country, you can't.
I don't know if we're allowed to say that. Did you watch the game live? I don't know if we're allowed to say that.
Wow, you guys have been on for 3.5 hours?
Oh no, have we?
Yeah. Your wife's gonna come in and bitch at you pretty soon.
Oh, it's look. Marcel put a link in there for a knowledge base. Now that is cool. I have to X out of that and then go check out the knowledge base. What? That came up with eBay. What am I doing?
You clicked on the wrong one or something.
Yeah, I must have clicked on an older one. Order deeper network product, and then there's the bottom one. All right.
Yeah, so I see what he's talking about here, but my WAN port on my router is completely different than any other router I've seen so far.
Why?
Because it filters out what you need in there instead of going from like the modem output to a WAN input. It completely changes the way that it works that way. It's almost like its own VPN, honestly.
Why does my router have a 2 WAN input?
I have a 4 LAN input. Actually, I have 2 WANs and 2 LAN inputs on mine.
Why would we have that?
Because you can use separate, like let's say you had cable internet and DSL internet.
Okay.
You can use both of them at the same time. If one goes down, it'll automatically switch to the other with no interruptions whatsoever.
All right, makes sense.
So.
At $15, I was just putting it in to see what would come up. It's $15 ship fee.
That's not. That's all right. I can handle that.
And then if you buy more than one, it's $5 for each additional one.
Okay. I think I only need one for a household.
Looks like the Mini does have a router mode. You can select it if you want. Well, I wouldn't want to.
Okay. Well, that would definitely be turned off.
Time flies when you're having fun. I've been multitasking, but listening.
Good.
Deeper Wi-Fi. Is that why you would have the 2 WAN connections? Yeah. When Jim asks why, you're going for another half hour. Hey.
Because I hopped on. Every time I hop on with you, Jim, we talk for fucking another hour.
I was just saying that. I just said that. Last week I got up, we talked for 2 hours. I never knew. This is like an air gap, right?
Yeah.
Just as good.
Yep.
Air gap for what?
No, I'm saying it's like just as good as air gap in your computer.
Yeah.
Because they're never seeing your actual IP, so they can't come to your house and all this crap.
And Neil, you're right on that too. You can bridge the connections. I actually, like on my computer itself, it actually runs off of both Wi-Fi and network connection at the same time.
What are you Wi-Fiing to?
To my router. My big ass fucking router that cost me way too much.
Oh, tell me about it. I paid $300 for my AC87 from Best Buy a couple of years ago.
Yeah, mine was $500. I know what you're talking about.
But you know what? It served me well.
Yeah. Oh, it works great. I have had 0 issues with it. In fact, I haven't even logged into it for so long.
I have to say, with Asus, I love their app.
Yep.
You could punch a button and do the firmware update, all that crap, if there is one. And it comes with automatic Trend Micro DOS attack software, which it turns out has been a godsend because it'll show you there's been like 200 attempts at a DOS attack.
Yeah. I just like the ASUS software too because I can actually throttle my daughter down.
Yep.
Throttle my wife's TV down.
Trend Micro is awesome. Good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yep.
That is what that came free on the AC87, the ASUS router.
Yep.
At the time, that was a Class D. That was the biggest router area-wise that I could get, coverage-wise. It was supposed to cover 5,000 feet. It don't.
Well, you got to spend that $500 or $900 for the router, not just $300. That's just not enough.
I went out in the backyard and I was trying to Bluetooth. Yeah, it was Bluetooth.
Yeah.
It still should have worked.
Yeah. 4.1 Bluetooth or higher?
Oh, older. It's the Harman Kardon.
Oh,
Harman Kardon speakers.
Yep. Those are good speakers, though.
I love them.
Which speakers?
The round Harman Kardon.
Oh, yeah.
Speakers.
Mm-hmm.
Great little suckers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I got rid of all my other stuff and I went to Sonos and went totally wireless for the home theater. Lord, oh Lord, what a phenomenal sound system.
Oh, yeah.
Because I had an older one, which was still good, a Bose system, but with the fire, they replaced it. And I didn't do anything. So then I finally said, we had to tear out all the floors and everything. So I ran cable along the back before the flooring went in so I could get in there. And I started thinking, well, what am I going to get? Started looking and I'm going, damn, the only thing I need to hardwire is the subwoofer to the sound bar at the front. Everything else is remote. And with the wireless like that, because I upgraded, I had a sound bar already. So I had those and we had two other Sonos. So I put them in the living room. So if the grandkids are over, they can watch something over there on Netflix or whatever in there. But then when you just want music in the house, then the sound is in the family room. It's in the living room and you can control the volume. And
nice. Did you
makes
go
it so easy.
Did you go 2 zones or just 1 zone?
Each one's a separate room. The family rooms is a 5.1.
Okay.
Surround sound Atmos, so it comes right off the HDMI off the
nice,
the TV.
Yeah.
The sound is phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
well, that's what I'm using, eARC.
Yeah.
But you went 2 zones. If another room is getting a separate
amplifier, basically, yeah.
No, not separate amplifier because it's all wireless. In other words, my signal's either coming from my phone.
I got you.
From the computer.
Right. Yeah, that's.
Or if you're watching TV, in the family room, you can push the sound over that way. Or if you're watching TV in the living room, you can push it back into the family room from the living room.
Yeah. Oh, well, we wound up talking about audio video receivers last week.
Yeah.
Me and Sean.
Yeah, but the wireless technology on those is completely different. Like you can actually have 2 channels, or you don't have to have 2 zones for a separate amplifier as well too. It's really cool how it works out.
All right, boys.
That makes it nice.
Oh yeah.
Let's 3.5 hours. God, man, let's end this thing.
Jim's like, shit, I am in so much trouble.
Can't believe anybody would want to hear us for 3.5. Good, you should have heard us earlier. We were going crazy on camera technology.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
Well, now, everybody just bought the Hero 9, so the Hero 10 came out.
Right. Yeah. How heavy is that? Like 18 pounds now?
I don't know. Somebody said that it was less weight than the Hero 9.
Really?
Oh, it did say how many grams. It was like 950 grams.
Ew, that's still heavy. That's still a fucking
heavy.
brick.
Yeah, it is heavy. Was that 950 grams? Really? That's heavy as shit.
Yeah, it is.
GoPro Hero 10.
Right.
That is how much my X5 camera weighs. The X5S weighs less than that.
Really? Wow.
That's a lot of friggin' weight.
That's a lot.
Color blades, yeah.
I hope somebody comes out with the naked GoPro on that one.
Well, guys, you better put your order in. I bought one of those in order to put it over at my other project to protect everything over there.
Nice. Yep. Did you really? Damn it.
Yeah.
Stop buying it. Stop it.
Well, gentlemen, we'll let Jim go. Jim, good to see you. Thanks for having me on. Sean, good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Steve.
You take care. And everybody in chat, thanks for coming in, supporting Jim, and joining the fun. Sorry I was late to the game, but just like Sean, long day at work today.
Oh, man.
So take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Oh, it says the Hero 10 is 5 grams lighter than its predecessor.
5 grams. That's yeah. That doesn't.
I'll buy 2. I'll buy 2, so that'll be 10 grams lighter.
Wow.
Jesus.
That's ridiculous.
Oh man, I'm still not seeing that. Oh wait, here's specs. All I wanted to know was the actual weight.
Right.
Oh, I give up.
Yeah, of the Hero 9. No, it's discontinued now. It came out with the 10. It's discontinued.
Which, of course, will have a new battery.
Right.
You got to go buy a new battery. And
Yeah, it's a different size, just barely on the top.
Right? Paulie, you're still up? Oh, my God. Al's still up, too.
Wow. Yeah, we went from 11 to 13. Like,
we did. They just, Jim is not a quitter. He's going to do a 4-hour stream.
We're really close, man. Just 15 more minutes.
I'll tell you what. I forgot how many hours we were on last week, but then we got off, and then Sean and I talked for at least another 2 hours.
Oh, yeah. My wife was like, "Are you going to get off there or what?" So was your wife, though.
We got into talking about audio-video receivers and, having a blast with the zone systems and all that crap.
Right.
All right, I'm going to end this stream.
Okay.
Good night, guys.
Have a good one, guys.